Well, I'm ready when you are.
Yeah.
All right, we are back for. I don't know why I did the thumbs up. This week's been lopsided, like very, very lopsided, for a number of people, and we'll definitely go over a lot of the big news, including the frontline stuff. Very little has happened with the fighting games for this episode, which is 209, I believe. Let me double check on that. We should be on 209, but hopefully, everyone's been staying safe, taking care, and stuff like that. But yes, this should be episode. It's coming up. Yes, 209 with yours truly, as always, Sean, aka Hawk525, with the cohorts, as always, ZawarudoWrrryy, aka Zawa.
Hi.
Yeah. Hope you've been hanging in there, man, because I know this week was quite something. It's quite something. Let's put it that way. It's been an eye opener, definitely. But let's get the one bit of news. I know there's nothing on the fighting game docket or the fighting games section of the docket, but there is one little mention. I guess we can briefly mention about the beta for the rollback netcode for Rev 2, and then I don't know if it's in beta phase or whatever it is. It's there, and also the crossplay stuff for Strive, which is between the PlayStation stuff and the PC, right? So you're saying about something earlier. Could you just repeat that?
From watching Matt's stream and hearing friends and from the Yo Video Games community that did play the beta for the crossplay and what's it called? Rollback or Strive?
Mm-hmm. Rollback for
something. It was
Rev 2, you mean?
Yeah,
right.
Strive. See, my mind's still playing on Strive. They said for some was good, from others it was
meh. Yeah.
meh, because there was a lot. Majority of the meh was a lot of frame drops.
Yeah.
And this is from some players that were making the graphics super good, high end. That's why they were saying frame drops. And then one community member said just drop it back down to 1080p and it's actually stable.
Yeah.
It wasn't fully stable. It was stable, but still. Again, people gotta remind themselves it is just a beta, so they're still trying to iron it out. But I can understand for those who are waiting for this would be put off because of all the frame drops. You're missing your basic 1, 2, 3 combos.
Yeah.
Because you and I, we know how that feels.
Yeah. Yeah, we're very.
It's I got you. Why are you over there all of a sudden?
Very familiar with all that stuff. For sure. Yep. So that pretty much sums it up. I haven't really checked it out myself, so I can't really say too much about it for this particular topic. But they're getting there. Yeah. I mean, they're trying. From what it sounds like, they're implementing something that yes, we have been asking for. So they're trying. Especially the rollback netcode for a game like Rev 2, because that was a fighting game, kind of stuck in that sort of age where delay netcode or delay based netcode was still a thing, and it was a game that cried for rollback netcode, just like a lot of fighting games back in that day. So they're trying. That's good. And you have to, let's remind ourselves that the rollback netcode is still coming for a game like Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is another game that's been, highly requested for that. So that's coming for that is coming for that game as well. So things are rolling along in the fighting game section of things. So that's again good. I heard there was the game is still being updated, or KOF 15 is still being updated. So that's good. It seems like So those places are rolling along just nicely.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. Now, what's not very cool was the stuff that's been transpiring in Bayonetta 3. There's a lot to talk about. I know you've been trying to take it all in, but there is a lot to take in, even still, because there's been updates. Like literally, like one thing happened, and then the very next day another thing happened. So it's like, wow, like literally the next day.
Much, Yeah, it's pretty much that old like bandwagon jumping, like everyone jumping everywhere.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So let's break it down. Let's explain how it all happened and started. So, it all started with Hellena Taylor, who made that tweet, pretty much breaking NDA, talking about, or claiming at least, that she was paid only $4,000 for the whole game. Which is flat rate, everything, no residuals, no royalty pay or anything like that, just the $4,000. So she claimed, and you have to remember that this is a role that she's returning to, and so in a situation like that, you are allowed to pay to be paid more because you're returning to that role. It's a well-established character at that point. You as the actor or actress have been established with that character, so it's you have the right to ask for more pay. So naturally,
more reasonable pay, not like more reasonable pay.
Of course, reasonable. Yes, of course. Point being, this allowed for such pay, but she didn't. She felt like she didn't get that because it's just $4,000, and that claim put a lot of people at unease, including myself, and I'm sure Zawa, and so there are a lot of people wanting to, and this is an important detail. Hellena Taylor asked for a boycott on the game because she was wrong. She felt like she was wrongfully treated or paid or whatever for her services as a voice actress, and being unappreciated and all that stuff. So she asked to boycott the game. For people to boycott the game and instead, donate the money to charity instead. That was pretty much the quote, and so a lot of people felt natural to just like do so, and even I felt very uncomfortable, by the time the game would come out, and with that in mind, it would not be a great experience for me. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna not buy the game at release. I'll just wait for it to go on sale or something like that, but I'm not gonna add to the launch sales for the game. And that's, I guess, a way, I guess you could call it boycotting on my end, whatever you want to call it. But that was my decision. And yeah, but you said you wanted to continue playing the game, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So to make my small little stance on this, before we go into further details
of
what's
course.
happening.
Of course.
Which again, everyone, you're gonna hear and read who's watching, like info of what this whole controversy's been going through and stuff. I'm pretty much in the neutral state.
Yeah.
Ish. Like, I can understand from a VA perspective that Hellena is trying to do something, trying to bring awareness to underpaid
actors, voice actors,
VAs. For me, it's like, okay, I can understand you. And when we look at the platinum games at Nintendo, it's like all of this could have been ironed out if you just did this one simple thing. But I don't know. Your PR group might be shitty. Me, I'm gonna do what I've done with the Harry Potter franchise, for example. I separate the things. I have something I like, and then something I'm like, okay, no.
Right.
So with that saying, I am still gonna buy the game. It's just that I'm not going to announce it, like when I'm buying the game.
Oh yeah. You're gonna like put it on social media.
Where I am in the game, unless I'm talking to like Hawk here, for example, like through DMs or have like small little play section, because I don't want to be like here, look at me with my Bayo 3, and then all of a sudden I get comments going like, you're supporting the regime or something. Like, wait, what? It's like, stop.
I get it.
Like, stop.
I understand.
But yeah.
So
that's my stance on am I buying the game or not. I know Hawk here is going to buy it, but not immediately.
Not immediately.
Because you're already flooded with other games lining up.
Exactly. So it I don't want to say it worked out, but that's just how it worked out, right? It's just it's just more of a practical thing than really like the whole boycotting thing. Having to think of it in the broad spectrum of things. But people from the outside in, or from the outsiders, gonna see it like, oh, he's boycotting, but whatever, I don't fucking care. I even made a YouTube short about it. It was a 1-minute video explaining how I feel and what I'm doing with the game, which is not buying it. I'm not telling anyone to do whatever they want with their money. I didn't say anything about like, oh, you should boycott the game too because Hellena Taylor's, a great voice actress for Bayonetta, and she is Bayonetta. And it's like, no, I literally just said, what happened, what I'm doing with that situation with the game, and why I feel that way, or whatever, why, kind of. And then, and the comments were just very interesting, to say the least. It was very decisive, right? It was like, because the like and dislike ratio was literally 50%. It was like down in the middle. It was very mixed. I had all kinds of comments like, hey, I feel for you, or something along the lines of, hey, I don't feel comfortable either, or I'm not as excited, but I'm conflicted of gaining the whole collection, right? Like Bayo 1, 2, 3, right? And of course you had that one person just like, oh, $4,000 is that really cheap? Or those people, right, that pretend to like say like, oh, this isn't cheap to me, right? Because $4,000 for, because I guess they did the math, quote unquote, and what it equates to if you do it by hourly would have been $250 per hour, right? But that's not how you're supposed to look at it in that field. In some instances, right? Not all of them, but there are, right? Your game, like, you have to take into account that how often you get these projects, right? You don't get these on the weekly. You don't get these by the day. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know why people look at it that way. It's like, oh my gosh, she's getting paid $250. Why is she complaining?
Yeah, I'm sorry, kids. Voice acting is a very competitive, like, scene.
Yeah.
If your name is not, well, even if you're a big name, you're still competing like against other like big names.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean,
so I'm sorry, people. It's not, VA is not a easy street to drive in. You are actually auditioning your ass off. It's like in the what was it, early 2000s, every freaking game was either Troy Baker or Yuri Lothwell. Like that's all you heard.
Yeah, and Laura Bailey.
And Laura Bailey. Yeah.
Laura Bailey or Jennifer Hale. Funny enough.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, we're not bashing on them. It's just that
that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So like if one game had Yuri, the other game had Troy. If it had both Troy and Yuri, like the other game had like the other awesome voice actors. And sorry, this whole stuff with VAs. You may think they're getting paid a lot for these roles and gigs. They ain't.
Yeah.
Majority of their income, not surprisingly, but maybe surprisingly to other people, are conventions. When they sell, sell their signatures or doing the 10-second like voice voicemail.
Like cameos and like what do you call those, like shout outs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Because I can say with confidence, for 10 years of my life, being a con staffer, they bring in a lot of money doing that. Because again, like when we had Felicia Day in one of our conventions, I think around this time she just started voice acting for Dragon Age, I believe. Like during this time she just started. So everyone who knew Felicia Day was like, they knew her from the Guild, from YouTube, and I think Supernatural, if my timeline is correct. But anyways, like her signature alone was raking in a lot of money. So yeah. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's the reality of it, right? I mean, there are a lot of people who just don't understand the pay rate and the sort of the money, sort of financial side of it when it comes to being a voice actor. I mean, yeah, on the surface, $4,000 does sound a lot to the average person. $250 per hour does sound a lot, definitely. But you have to remember that only few are casted into that project, right? So if you think about it, it's about the same. It's about the same amount of money distributed to their their quote unquote employees of that project, right? So when you have a regular ass day-to-day job, right, like Amazon or at the office or something like that, you have a lot of people, like 250 people at least, and you're paying them at whatever, like the minimum wage, right? For here it's like what, $15 or something like that in Cali or in Los Angeles. It's $15 an hour, so you gotta distribute that for all the employees, of course, right? But but with voice acting, you're only casting like 8 people, or I don't know, it depends on how big the project is, right? So that people just don't think about that. They just forget about it. They just assume like, oh, they hire this many actors and stuff like that. No, they pay like a lot to the main character, actor for the main character, and then like scraps for like the side characters and the background characters, and then a decent sum for like the staff, right? Like the sound engineers, the audio people, the marketing, of course, and everyone else, of course, involved with the project. They get paid pretty decently, right? So it's just kind of how it goes. Very much fewer. That's why a lot of the budget goes to, of course, the main actor of the or the main character actor or whatever, right? So that's why if you can think about that, then it's like, okay, I can see where this is coming from, right? So there was just this whole like argument about like, oh, this is cheap, why is she or this isn't cheap, why is she complaining, blah blah blah. They even show like the people were showing the SAG after rates, right? You know, which is the union for voice acting.
Yeah.
You know, and they show the rates and everything. And if you line that up with her initial claim, it's like minimum, pretty much. They paid her minimum, and you have to think about it. You know, this was the final offer. $4,000 flat rate was the final offer, according to Hellena Taylor. So they're according to her, we're going to pay her even lower. So yes, of course, she's gonna feel this way in the video. So yeah. So obviously, all this going in, taken into mind, a lot of people felt like they're on Helena's side, right? And of course, this is the voice actor of Bayonetta, right? You know, awesome character. She does a really good job portraying the character. She brought the character to life, you know, and all that stuff. And you know, she seems to be like a wonderful person, nice, and all that stuff. So of course, you would think that she would be telling the truth. You know, people just like quickly went to her side, sympathized with her at least, everything, right? Unfortunately, that all fell apart on the very next day, literally, very next day. And
but again, people take this with a grain of salt with all of these like new news and stuff, because these are just outlets saying, you know, saying what is being said and stuff.
I forgot.
I'm still on the cusp of I'm waiting for an official statement, not a telephone.
Right, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Hold on. I forgot to bring up all these tweets. Sorry about that. I was very into the.
He is very invested. Everybody
invested in my, you know, because dude, fucking people just talk shit about voice actors all the time, like, oh, why they're complaining about their pay, and you know, it's so irritating. It is so irritating, man. Yep. I love voice actors, man, because I like cartoons, I like anime, all that stuff. So naturally, I'm gonna gravitate towards more the voice actors. So that's why, you know, I feel this way whenever people talk shit about that. So it's like very, very frustrating when people like underappreciate it and just show ignorance when it comes to that sort of stuff. So, okay, so before we really get into the second half of things, the meat of things, the story was so big that even TMZ was reporting it. Of course, let me see. This person pointed out that her video, this one tweet alone, this one video, had 4 million views and a lot of engagement on social media, especially with Twitter, and which is more than the the trailer, the gameplay trailer for Bayonetta 3, oddly enough. So ain't that something to take away from, right? Now, granted, yes, Bayonetta is a niche gaming franchise. Yep. So you have to take that into consideration. But it is still interesting that the actress got more views on Twitter than the one of the trailers. So again, ain't that something? And you know, like I said,
everyone. Sorry.
Go ahead.
The whole underpaying VAs, it's not new. This is not a new like right. It just came out of the blue. This has been an ongoing battle for like what, years?
Yeah, I think back in 2016 they had a strike. Yeah. There was a strike with the union and stuff like that, and only a little bit was improved, but it didn't really was a explosion of whatever they wanted. It was just a little bit of an improvement, but that's about it. So the ongoing issue is still ongoing. So yep, it's still a problem. It's still a problem.
So, again, everyone, once again, in this mistreatment of VAs is not new.
Yes, it is not new. Point being, so okay. So back on this part, there was like I was saying earlier, there was a lot of people on her side, including her fellow voice actors and actresses.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and even David Hayter was on her side. The original voice of Metal Gear Solid's Solid Snake, right? And even Jennifer Hale was looking like she was like a little neutral, but but also seeing her point too, right? So. Even Yang Ye kind of like pointed out that Jennifer Hale was liking all the recent stuff about Hellena Taylor. So she wasn't informed, of course. She's just an actress, so she's not like she knew about this whole thing either. So that's that I think that makes sense. And then Jennifer Hale
wrote her own statement
without breaking the NDA, of course. She hopes that everything works out. Just to sum it up, much respect to Miss Hale. Massive respect from such a veteran voice actress and stuff like that. And it was so weird. This whole situation in this first half was weird because it's like, why was Taylor only paid $4,000, but then you have someone like Jennifer Hale, who's a much more of a highly established voice actress in terms of how many roles she has, right? I'm sure they have like the equal amount of like acting prestige, but in terms of how many roles who has, Jennifer Hale is much more decorated in that regard. And so you think that she'd be paid more, right? No, there's no way she'd be paid the $4,000. No fucking way. So this was all really weird. Right, but then
I mean, in my what's the word I keep like mixing up?
Oh, cynical.
Like, in my cynical mind,
yes.
I kind of want to believe Jennifer Hale just took this project, to just go like, I'm not doing anything right now.
Right, but
what's there in the market? What's in the market?
But no. I think someone like her would not take that offer. No.
But what I'm thinking is that Platinum Games did what. Sorry to bring you back again into the mix, David Hayter. What Kojima and Konami was doing for Metal Gear Solid 5, and not bringing back David Hayter and just wanted to bring someone else.
Yeah.
To kind of like differentiate, like, this is
the different.
Sorry, kids. Spoilers who did not play Metal Gear Solid 5, which has been a long time.
Yes.
That's not Snake.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Big Boss.
Yeah. That is
which now when you understand it, it's like, you have a different voice actor to play a different version of
Solid Snake, essentially.
Of Solid Snake.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it as the multiverse, which kind of also throws it out the window because we had President Loki. Oh, sorry again, people who did not watch Loki.
Yeah.
Where you be?
Yep.
But again, Jennifer Hale voicing a Bayonetta. How do I capitalize an A? Hawk, when you edit this video, can you just draw a big ass A? A Bayonetta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's not the Bayonetta. She's a Bayonetta.
Right. And you remind me of what she said. I think it was like part 2 or something like that. She put out like 3 or 4 videos.
Yeah.
And she brought up the Jennifer Hale is allowed to voice the character, but she can't say that's her voice for Bayonetta or something like that. Like, she's not allowed to say I'm Bayonetta.
Something weird.
That one was like, that's
like,
where
the wording was weird.
Yeah. Like I'm Bayonetta as much as she is what's his character from Mass Effect?
Commander Shepard, or for recent players who heard Jennifer Hale's voice, she is Ash from Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's more fun, like with my friends when we do play Overwatch. It's like I just scream, "It's Bayonetta! Stop her! She's going to witch time us."
Western, like Wild West Bayonetta, essentially. But if you think about it, but
my friends are like, are staring at me because I have a couple that never played, and they're like, "What the fuck is witch time?" I was like, "You uncultured. You know what? We'll talk about this later. I'm gonna hack her. You just stop her."
Okay. So yeah. So that she was saying, she basically she's saying that Bayonetta is my character essentially, and but you know Jennifer Hale's characters are her characters. So that's what she said. But even then, it's like, yeah, even though you're established with this character, you don't really own the character. So that's where I definitely do disagree with her, and I think a lot of people can say that they disagree with her on that part. And that, but that was, yeah. So pretty much that was like the big gist of like that whole video or whatever that she put out in 3 parts or 4 parts. What I found weird also in those videos is that I think the first part she cited that Bayonetta made, what is it, like $450 million or something like that. She like brought up that numbers, right, for the sales. You know, this it made this amount of money, and a lot of people were like, "What? Really? Like I thought it was lower than that," which is why it's niche, you know. But I don't know. I mean, that was where also I felt was weird. It's like, why would she say something like that? Why would she come up with a number like that? You know what I mean?
To
and
which,
and even she said not including merchandise. So that part is also weird. So go ahead. Sorry.
It's more also weird, like as you were saying, and I think we can agree. Where did she get those numbers?
Right.
Somebody would pretty much maybe was feeding her info, like misinformation, or just to like stir up the pot. That's what my belief is, to just sabotage her or whatever you want to call it. Can you stop biting my toe? Thank you. But yeah, I don't know. It's like that's like a really like I'm sorry. Do you know how to do math? Because I'm a B average in math. Even my B averageness in math is saying that that seems a little high.
Right.
So again, everyone, Bayonetta is not as popular as you think. It's a very niche game.
Yeah, I mean, people know of Bayonetta, but the franchise, the entire franchise, isn't so much well known, unfortunately.
No.
It's very. I'd say it's still like an underdog, in comparison to many other video gaming franchises out there.
So to put it in perspective of like how niche Bayonetta is, think of Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter didn't get its leg until the DS era. Like late in the DS era. And then it exploded during World. Yep. Once World showed up, then everyone is like, it's a talk of the town. Now everyone has it embedded in their head that this is Monster Hunter. Another really niche game. That only hardcore PS1 players remember. And we are still barking at the moon. Don't you dare go back there. Get out of there. Get out of there. We're still barking at the moon for like a remake or a re-release, whatever you want to call it, is Legend of the Dragoon.
Yes.
And there goes my gray hair.
Yes.
Legend of the Dragoon. It's very niche. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
It's a good game, but it's like when you ask like people like nowadays, hey, I see you like classics. You played Legend of the Dragoon? Probably people are just gonna stare at you going like, what's that? It's like, I see the young crowd. Excuse me.
Yeah. There are many out there, including Skies of Arcadia and stuff like that. So, but yep, that is another one. Anyway, it's a niche thing, so it's like it all goes back to that part where she brought up the numbers, and a lot of people were just like, wait, what? So
Yeah.
that should have raised a flag, I think, right? I didn't even like think about it until after I did my reaction video and stuff like that. So I didn't even think about that. But I'm like, wait a minute, why did she say it like that, right? Like, why did she bring up those numbers? It's so weird. Yeah, if it was with merchandise, okay, maybe it's a little more believable. But even then, you know, she like strongly boldly stated, oh, I made this amount of money without merchandise. So I was like, weird. Okay, so now we can get into, I think, the second half of things, because literally the next day, unfortunately, let me bring this up. However, Jason Schreier and a number of journalists, including, Jason Schreier posted this on Bloomberg, that there was pretty much a counter statement or counter dispute on Taylor's initial sort of claim for the $4,000 flat rate. So basically, this is like a TLDR, pretty much in the thread, but basically says last weekend Bayonetta's former voice actor called for fans to boycott the new game, blah blah blah. But the full story is much more complicated. And then in the thread, it says Platinum offered, is a Schreier claiming, Platinum offered Hellena Taylor between $3,000 and $4,000 per session for at least 5 sessions. According to 2 people familiar with the deal and documentation viewed by Bloomberg, in response, the people said Taylor asked for a 6-figure fee and residuals. Negotiations fell apart. Taylor denies this account. In an email to Bloomberg, she called that version of events an absolute lie and said that Platinum is trying to save their ass and the game. That was, I guess, her quote. Taylor's videos, continuing with the thread, Taylor's videos have received more than 9.5 million views on Twitter, so that's even way more than the Bayonetta trailers, and led to to a deluge of calls from fans and pundits to boycott Bayonetta 3. But accounts and evidence reviewed by Bloomberg make it clear that those videos were not the whole story. Taylor's videos also led to a barrage of Twitter vitriol and harassment toward Platinum developers and new Bayonetta voice actor Jennifer Hale, who put out a statement saying that she could not comment and subsequently retweeted a telling thread. Let me see. So, Jennifer Hale quote tweeted someone named Ben Diskin. I believe this person is a voice actor as well. And his original tweet says, I feel like critical thinking is a skill that needs to be taught as its own subject in school. Number 1, if you only hear one side or part of one side of a story, you haven't heard the whole story. Number 2, spreading an opinion based off of partial information can spread misinformation. And then Jennifer Hale, in her quote tweet, just said thread, pointing down with the emo and everything. Okay. And then last part for Jason Schreier, he says it's unlikely the full story will get as much traction or as many eyeballs as the original Twitter videos, which in my opinion raises more interesting questions about pleas to emotion and how information is disseminated in the social media age. So I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, so that's all there is to
that. So to add more of what Jason, I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm just going to be nice.
Yeah.
Jason S. But Schreier.
Schreier.
A lot of people are calling him out for like, just show some type of receipts of this whole situation because from what I dug through the comments and like did my own little research. This is the guy, yes, he's good at his job, like breaking news of like what's happening in the video game industries, cracking down on the bad work ethics of like video game companies and stuff. But the one that caught my eye in the comment section was someone called him out saying like, "Aren't you the one that withheld information during the whole, which is still ongoing, the Activision Blizzard
lawsuit stuff.
Lawsuit stuff?"
Mm-hmm.
She didn't comment, but then everyone's like, "Yeah, when the accusations were like still."
Mm-hmm.
I want to call it in its baby state.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, like start like slowly, like giving out information. He waited till it actually blew up to just go like, "Oh yeah, here. These are also other stuff that they were doing behind the scenes." It's like, why only now? Why only now you wait till it's like its highest point that you're just like flooding like the stuff in? So that caught my like going like, yeah, maybe.
I don't know. That could be a number of things. So I don't want to say too much
Another
about
thing.
it. Like it could have been just like, there's a thing called timing. I mean, that is a thing in journalism. But
and then the other stuff that someone called him out was like, "Yeah, can you just show us like redacted receipts?" And his response was like, somewhere on the line. It's somewhere in that thread. Like,
well, I believe he's.
That means I'll have to be burning like.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up. Yeah. So he has to. He would have
not
to
a
bring.
bridge.
He would have to burn that bridge essentially from that source.
Burn a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, burn a source. And I was like, okay. Okay.
I mean, in a world, there's stuff that I'm sure we don't know about journalism. So, yeah, I'm gonna be neutral.
But when you just put like your own like basic research, because lo and behold, kids, when Hawk and I were wee lads in school, we didn't have the internet. We had to look at books.
Yeah, we had to look at books,
to do our
actual newspaper articles and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
going through those. I mean, did you have it in your school? Like, it was like that big ass machine, and then it's like you put in like this small ass thing, and it blows up like
the projector. Yeah.
Like,
the overhead projector. Yep, that was. Yep, that was what
and
we.
You couldn't highlight it. You actually had to go like. On March 18, 1941, a group of settlers did all of this, and
yeah,
like holy shit.
Yes, we were in that overhead projector era. Yep. But anyway,
but for this right now, like all these news and stuff, if you guys want to do your own reading and research of what's happening with Hellena Taylor, Platinum Games, maybe even Nintendo, but I don't think Nintendo's like involved. I think Nintendo's like on the opposite fence, just watching.
Right.
Of this whole thing with Bayonetta 3. Take everything you're reading with a grain of salt.
At least to some extent, but
yeah, don't like say like this is the definite answer. I believe this.
I mean, it can't. It can't be helped.
Small research.
Right. But it just can't be helped because Schreier is very good at his job, and along with a number of journalists that corroborated with him, or not with him, but rather they just corroborated happened so because they happened to get the same source or similar sources to get this stuff.
Yeah.
And so they happen to work with each other indirectly, whatever. So you can't help but this is like, because this is all there's the document and everything and blah blah blah. So people just can't help but see this as the story, right? This is the final say. Right. The final nail in the coffin, so to say, and therefore Hellena Taylor is now the not even the suspect, the culprit of all this stuff, and so
to which I'm like maybe part of the group. We care, but at this point we're just waiting for Platinum's PR, which again that's probably not going to happen, to give an official statement.
I mean, they're gonna do something, right? Because
they're gonna do. I want to say a week after the game launches,
couple weeks, whatever. Give it some time, but there is gonna be something, right? Because we have to mentioned this too with Kamiya, right? Kamiya is also another huge person involved with this situation because he's the big name behind these games, including Bayonetta.
Yep.
And so naturally they're gonna come to him to be like, hey, why'd you pay this person this much money or whatever? And so and of course he has his own sort of persona on Twitter and such social media,
yep.
right? That he has his own rules and everything. That's why it's been a meme for a very long time that if anyone speaks to him other than Japanese, he's gonna block them because that's just, I don't know, that's just how it goes, I guess. Maybe because that's not his strong suit or anything like that. It could be a number of things. I don't know. People call him xenophobic, whatever it is. Who the fuck knows, right? Anyways, that's how it goes.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
To bring more onto Kamiya stuff, if you think this is how he acted, no, he's been acting like this for a long time.
On Twitter.
This is not new.
Mm-hmm. It's been a long time.
Yeah, when I first saw him doing this stuff, I was like, why the hell is he doing this? And as you explained, English is not a strong suit. I was like, yeah, you know what? I understand. Okay.
That's just my sort of hearsay, sort of speculation, but that's, yeah, of course, Japanese is his first language, so it is a natural thing to think about. But not to mention, but
this whole situation with the whole thing, yes, people shouldn't have been attacking him, like why you did this, blah, 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 rah, rah, rah. Two, I guess it was because of the heat of the moment. He was being overwhelmed.
No, yeah, for sure.
So people just saw him, banning people outright, left and right, as like, oh, he's being a man-child and stuff. It's like, okay, honey, pretend you're in his shoes. You're just enjoying your morning coffee, and then all of a sudden you just
barrage of just hate,
barrage of shit, and you're like, what? Wait, what? What?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Don't you dare tell me you're just gonna be like, okay.
Yeah.
No, you'll be like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Yeah. So, what happened in that situation was that Kamiya's account was like frozen, or it was like I think
frozen.
It was frozen. Is that a frozen, or he hit the nuke button, he pretty much like.
No, he was suspended because
he was suspended. Yeah.
I almost said the YouTube algorithm. The Twitter algorithm detected like multiple bad blocking. So it just kicked in saying like, oh, you're a bot.
Oh yeah. And then what happened after that? He purposefully deactivated the account, and then he resetted his account, I think, as a means of like try to reset some of the things or something like that. I'm not too sure what it did really, but
at the moment his account is back online.
Yes, and he even had a tweet, if you translate it, saying that it was like very liberating to reset the account essentially, or at least to shut it down and then reactivate it in a way just to stop all this flood of people from sending their hate to him. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't have complete control of this, because who brings in the money, right? Nintendo, because Nintendo was the one who saved the franchise in the first place after Bayonetta 1, because no one else wanted Bayonetta as a franchise in their lineup except for Nintendo. They picked it up, they gave money to Bayonetta 2, and they greenlit Bayonetta 3, and it's been its own little success in that regard. Of course, a big hand from Hellena Taylor's performances, right? So that is probably, the money part is probably Nintendo's fault. I mean, I'm pretty sure when in Taylor's claim, Kamiya told her, oh, $4,000 is the final offer. I don't think that's straight from Kamiya. I think that's Nintendo telling him to tell her, oh, give her $4,000, the flat rate thing, in her claim, right? But then came this, where the Bloomberg article, where it's supposed to be per session. So altogether, at least she was going to get $20,000. But then, in this article, she wanted to bring it up to 6 figures, which is, I don't think that's too much at that point. especially for a niche genre. If it was like Marvel MCU stuff, then okay, I can kind of see more of that, definitely, right? But but this is just Bayonetta. While yes, the character herself is well known, the whole franchise doesn't sell well enough to ask for those sort of numbers for that for Taylor herself. So overall, it's all the more damning too because of what Taylor said about the numbers. Like, that's kind of weird. And then by the time she reached to part 4, she dedicated that to, like, quoting the religious stuff, right? So at that point, I'm just like, okay, what's going on now? Like, maybe she's taking this a little too far. And then, boom, this comes out. And also, not to mention, right, I mean, the whole thing with Jennifer Hale and stuff like that, I mean, that was just, I mean, that was very, very much uncalled for. But what's the most disappointing of all this is that in her response too, not only she tried to claim it as a lie, but like she didn't even have her own little documentation to back up her claims because she already broke NDA anyway. So it's like, might as well just go all out and show off all the, what I mean, like, or most of the evidence, right, to back up her claim. But she just said along the lines of like, oh, I'm just gonna move on from Bayonetta at this point. I'm just gonna just go do theater. That's essentially what she said. And so she never was able to back up her claims with documentation. And when Jason Schreier says that he and other journalists have like the documentation to prove that she is lying. So even though yes, they didn't show it, they didn't want to burn those bridges. So whatever. But I think well, we would like to see it. I would like to see it. I think a lot of people would like to see it. I think that will show up on the court. If there is going to be a case of this, I think that's definitely where it matters most. So if that documentation exists, it'll show up in court. It'll be there, and that's that. That's what matters in the end. So it doesn't matter that we see it. Well, it would be nice, but not really. In the end, I'd say, if there's a court case for this, that document will show up. Unless she has her own documents, unless she has her own evidence to counter all this stuff. Right, that's that, right? But right now, it looks like that's not the case on her end, unfortunately. But like you were saying, Platinum's probably gonna do some. I don't know. I mean. But I feel like, there is going to be something, right? Because this is a case of defamation, because Taylor claims, that they were trying to only pay her for $1,000 along with Nintendo. Mm-hmm. And she was literally trying to deface the product, right? And looks like she was lying about it. So yeah, I mean, there is a case, so looks like. Now, if there's a case about it, then that's where it's going to get settled. So, I don't want to do the whole cancel culture thing where it's like, oh, we are the judges and stuff like that, even though we're not judges in the end. We're just the audience. Let an actual judge do the judging, and let the lawyers present the evidences from both sides. And we'll see where this case goes. Is it going to be in her favor, or is she going to be guilty of defamation? So we'll have to wait. But for right now, we're definitely not going to see anything anytime soon. And so I say just go out and buy the game. I mean, if you want to buy the game, go buy the fucking game. At this point, I'm still not buying the game because there's other games coming up, including Sonic Frontiers, Pokemon, blah blah blah. So. I decided at this point, even though yes, I was initially excited to play the game, now I think about it, I probably should just focus on the other games for the sake of like being able to make a review for both of those games. So yeah, that's my little 2 cents on it. What about you? I mean, I'm pretty sure your end result hasn't really changed too much, but anything you wanted to say about all this stuff to wrap it up, I guess?
To wrap it up, what's it called? Speed run it, speed trot it, whatever you want to call. The VA underappreciated once again, not new. I'm still waiting for an official statement of from Platinum Games. If everything what Hellena Taylor said is true, then I already like DM'd you like what I said, so I'm just gonna say it right here.
Right.
To you, Hellena, thank you for voicing a VA character I love because of her attitude and fierceness. Wish you the best of luck, and maybe we'll see you flying to the moon once again in the future. If Platinum Games and Kamiya, well, actually, take out Kamiya. If Platinum Games is just, saving their ass and face, Nintendo is gonna be like knocking on that door, going like, "Hey, what the hell is going on?"
Right.
If Hellena is telling the truth and Platinum Games is telling the truth, and that article that Jason SM is telling the truth, it's pretty much I be damned. Jesus Christ. And then to look at Kamiya just like Bakadayo. Just go like, yay. And then get instantly banned or blocked by him. It's like, I did my job.
Right. You did remind me that yes, the voice actor issue is still a thing, and so I think the one thing we can definitely take away from that is true. No matter how you look at it, yes, the voice actor issue is still a thing, is still ongoing, and that was brought to attention once again, fortunately. But if will anything come out of this immediately? No, definitely not. But hopefully this will be another stepping stone to the future of voice actors being properly paid and appreciated for their work, at least in video games anyway. Because I think when it comes to TV and anywhere else,
and movies, yeah, I think
you get more residuals and stuff like that, I think.
To which I kind of agree and disagree with some people's statement of what video game voice actors should get. And it's like, the residuals, yes, I can understand. What I kind of wish they also get, or part of being a voice actor, actresses for video games, or in general voice acting, they get royalties.
Yeah,
because that for some of the audiences of video games, it's the voice or the voice actor or actress that sells the game.
Right, the character, right? And that character is what helps, yes, that should be a thing, but I feel like the major developers should also get some sort of royalty as well, because they're the ones who put the skeleton in there and all that stuff, the gameplay and all that stuff. That's also a huge part of it too for video games, of course, the gameplay, right? That should also be a thing. I think the video game industry as a whole is still in the fucking nightmare, man. It's
I think we're 30 years plus, and this in video game alone is still it's still not a hey guys, come on,
right. There's no actual union and everything, and it's still just kind of all over the place. And not to mention, video games make a lot of money, right, along with movies and stuff like that, if not more, right? So that's another thing about it.
I mean, for the audience, from what I'm seeing with Hollywood and stuff, hey, when they run out of ideas, guess where their next idea is gonna pop up from? It's gonna be video games. I mean, yes, they dabbled in video game making movies back in the day, but I think nowadays studios, they actually have a more grounded or grasp of what to choose, and they actually have a team to understand. That's why I kind of have faith in the Super Mario movies, but it's not like my heart is gonna be full in there. It's like I'm gonna watch you.
Yeah, of course.
If it's shit, it's shit.
Yes.
But if it becomes like as close as we can get for a Super Mario movie, very good.
Yeah,
you are learning.
And it'll be another stepping stone to the whole video game sort of like craze to be movies, right? So
yeah.
Hopefully
so that's why again people there is a blueprint to make a good video game movie or series.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how much of a like to a T are you going to make these TV shows and movies? For example, the Halo series. Oh my lord.
Yeah. Yep. We're still getting there. It's kind of lopsided still.
Like again, I praise the Halo TV series for making the Covenant looks good and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the story. The story just made me go like,
yeah. Even from looking from the outside in, no. I feel kind of sorry for
like
fans.
I think you may agree or disagree with me, viewers and listeners. The Halo series should have just stayed at the Fall of Reach. Like that should have been their stepping stone. They shouldn't have immediately jumped with Master Chief. It should have been a stepping stone with the Fall of Reach.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, the Fall of Reach was already made into a video game. You're pretty much just picking, do the whole like, can I see your homework?
Mm-hmm.
But again, stepping stones. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. Just a little reminder too, in this whole situation too, the whole boycotting thing. Boycotting itself, meh. I mean, do these things work? I mean, I do see the concept of it, but in the end, I think it doesn't.
Back in the day, yes.
Yes,
It might have worked.
It might have worked, but I don't know, man. It's hard because there are products that we love, but there's just things tied behind it that suck, right? There are many things that your electronics. I mean, you don't know what people went through to make those things, right?
Yeah. When you really dive into like your phone in your hand, like all the way, like trace it all the way back to the production line, you will actually open your eyes and go like, shit.
Yeah, it's hard. It's just So for me, I mean, it goes back to like Blizzard and Activision Blizzard thing too. Like, hey, if you want to if you want to play WoW, go play WoW. That's just the thing, right? I mean, it's just hard to like just do these things to pull it off, and I understand.
Same thing with Overwatch.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm still calling.
McCree.
I'm still calling him that because that's how I know the character.
Yeah.
I mean, you can call me ignorant and shit, and go like, well, they changed his name because of the whole Cosby room and stuff. It's like, okay, but as a character, McCree. I mean, yes, it's just a name, but when you really think about it, he really doesn't have anything to do with the whole Cosby shit. It's just the name.
Yeah, I mean, like, what if I mean, Bill Cosby, right? I mean, do people want to change their name from Bill to anything else, really? Are people gonna are people gonna take it that far? That's like, yeah. So that's why I don't know, man. These things, I just try to like, kind of.
That's why
put it to the side.
You gotta kind of think for yourself. Like, can you really differentiate or separate like one thing and stuff? Like, for Kamen Rider, their recent Kamen Rider series, which was Revice, their main voice actor, I love his character, but the main voice actor for that character in Kamen Rider Revice is a well-known racist.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, you cannot make this shit up. And when I heard about that, I was like, okay, you know what? You're an asshole, but I like your character.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go like this.
Yeah.
Awesome. Asshole.
Yeah.
Love you. Work on your people skills.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just hard.
And again, it's like in every franchise. There's always gonna be that couple of people or that 1%. I like this.
Yeah, the bad apple, right? Yeah.
Like you are pissing me off, but it's
Mhm.
okay.
You'll have
You do you.
Mhm.
You're not bothering me physically. That's actually gonna hurt me.
right.
I can just still play with my little area of the franchise.
Right.
And just like, what's the word? Know of you that you're right over there, but go like,
Mhm.
hi. Okay, back to this.
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah. You're gonna always have that one bad apple in the bunch, and what are you gonna do? Are you gonna throw that entire bunch? You know what I mean? Or are you just gonna cast the bad apple to the side and then keep the rest of the apples, right? So that's just kind of like the analogy I like to kind of use. But also, for the people that are like, even if you do boycott, what about the devs, right? I mean, what don't you want to support the devs? Well, here's the thing, right? Devs are already paid. They're already paid by the company. So it doesn't fucking matter. Like, so for you to be like, oh, you should buy the game because it supports devs. I mean, yeah, but it doesn't directly support the devs. You're supporting the company who gave the money. So Nintendo, it's really pretty much going to mostly Nintendo, and then there could be a bonus pay if the game does really well, right?
Well, yep.
And that's kind of how it works, right? So the company like Platinum should be paying them by the hour, and then they be paying them. That should be taken care of. The devs are okay. They're being paid as the game goes along, the project goes along. Well, so that's why that argument is just, it doesn't hold up as much water. I get it. I get what you're saying. What you're trying to get at. Yeah, it could ruin future opportunities with the franchise. But to say that, oh, we gotta support the devs directly, just gave them money and stuff like that, that's not gonna happen. That's just how it goes. Your money isn't just gonna go to the publisher or the person or the entity that gave the money in the first place. They're getting their return. That's how it works. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna buy the digital version and then they'll just magically go to the devs account or whatever. It doesn't work that way, right? They've already been paid, they've been taken care of. That's their issue, right? That's the company's issue, not yours. Your money is going to the big umbrella, right? The big top of the umbrella, which is in this case, I guess, Nintendo, right? So, and I guess Sega too, but because Nintendo/Sega, well, Nintendo here already gave their money, their budget to that company, which is Platinum, and then Platinum distributes that money to their devs, all the stuff, whatever, all the production costs, all the stuff, the equipment, whatever, right? That's where it goes. So they're taken care of for that moment, Future stuff, that's where it affects it, sure, because if we don't give enough money for Bayonetta, that's Nintendo thinking, oh, people aren't.
Nobody likes it.
Nobody likes Bayonetta. We're not doing Bayonetta anymore, right?
Yep.
Does that mean Platinum is out? Shot to shit or whatever you want to say? Are they what do you call? Just out of the game now? No, because there's other projects they could do. As long as Nintendo or anyone else goes to them and be like, hey, do you want to make? Can you make this game for us? That's how it goes. Yep. They just don't have the opportunity to develop Bayonetta anymore. That's where the passion, stuff like that. That sucks in the passionate sense, because I'm pretty sure they like making Bayonetta, but if you don't have the opportunity to make Bayonetta, yeah, that sucks. But they're not. It's not like they're completely shut out from from the games, right? So that's my sort of counter argument for anyone, because someone brought it up in my comments, and they're like, well, if you want to boycott, you're not supporting devs. So if you look into the industry, you would know how it works. But bro, like you could do the same too, because We're all learning this. We're all learning a lot from this whole situation too. So, you know, you're not so well knowledged or well informed, like you know, more than anyone else. You're in the same boat as anyone else, including myself. You know, so I'm learning all this stuff too, thanks to this whole thing from Hellena Taylor. So I learned a lot of stuff, and I think the big lesson here to take away from is that no matter who is telling the story, you gotta wait for the other side of the story. Even if it's Hellena Taylor, you think, oh, she's telling the truth, right? She's the well-established character for Bayonetta, blah blah blah. You know, she can't be telling a lie. You know, you gotta wait for the other side of the story. You know, I jumped the gun. A lot of people did, and a lot of people felt like they're lied to by Taylor for right now. That's the current narrative, but we'll see how this goes. If Planet wants to take action, then they'll take action, right? If Nintendo wants to get in on it, that's how it goes, man. That's, you know, Hellena Taylor literally lit the fuse, and boom. I mean, this whole bomb or whatever is gonna definitely go off at some point, right? With either the two companies or both of them going after her in a defamation case, possibly. But I just hope that Bayonetta has a future of sorts. That's all I can say. What about you?
Again, just waiting for the official statement.
Yeah.
I'm not really gonna jump on the bandwagon of, oh, she lied, he lied. Because again, this is no freaking he said,
she said.
Still gonna buy the game. Not gonna announce it when I'm buying the game or where I'm at in the game.
Yeah, you're not taking a picture and then put it on social media.
I'll only talk to like close people.
Yeah.
Like stuff, and then like if there's co-op in the game, I'll play, you know, like just, you know, close friends.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Of the game. So again, everyone, I'm not taking everything like face value. I'm just acknowledging that they exist.
Right.
Until again, an official statement from Platinum Games.
Yeah, and then, you know, let them settle it themselves. You know, we're not the ones who judge. Let them have the judge, you know, in court do all the work for us. That's what they're there for. They do the dirty job so that we don't have to. So yeah. Okay.
And that and then again, final, like with Polenta, if this was her big, you know, like I'm going out with a bang, she really did a bloody good job.
Yeah, she just pretty much possibly threw away so much, and it's very disappointing, right? Because she is Bayonetta. To me, she is Bayonetta. I mean, she said, you know, really sold the character, man. But to see it kind of unfold like this, it's just very disappointing, right? But I'm sure Jennifer Hale will do a good job. It's Jennifer Hale. You can't go wrong with her. But still, Hellena Taylor did really bring, you know, like that voice, the power, the oomph that we see from Bayonetta, man. That's, you know, it all kind of feels disappointing, man. But we'll see how it goes, and we'll see if there are any more updates and stuff like that. We'll definitely keep an eye out for that one. Okay, that was a very big one. Let's get into another piece of news that's kind of unfortunate for some fans, but here we go. So we know what's shut down for sure. You know, not unlike Bayonetta's not shut down, but what's shut down is G4 TV. They put a cap on it once again. They put it back in the can, throw it in the fucking shelf. It's happened again. Comcast told them to stop. They're not airing on TV anymore. In fact, it's completely shut down. You know, no one's working on G4 anymore. You know, people are out of that sort of gig. There was someone I do follow, or there is someone I do follow on Twitter, which is Gina. She was one of the main sort of hosts for G4, and she was kind of like spilling her side of the story, kind of, sort of, and I mean, basically, it all boils down to just, I think, I mean, this is just me speculating, but, you know, G4 TV had its time, right? It was a product of its time, but YouTube and Twitch, that's the big replacement. We've already have seen that type of content, and even done better in some ways, because, you know, we get to see our games, right? We can pick and choose the games that we want to look for, and go to that person, hear the review about it. That's pretty much it. And the passion, the drive behind it, it's definitely all there too, right? And you get to see different takes on that too. You get to hear different opinions, you get to hear different things, different sort of angles and stuff like that. That's what makes it all fascinating with this this whole content creation thing when it comes to video games, right? So that is something G4 is just outdated on at this point. You know, like I said, it was G4 was popular because there wasn't anything else really, you know. And I mean, what were your memories with G4?
Mostly like, yeah, their news, knowing what the upcoming games, and I think like sometimes memory serves me, their skits, like a little bit of their skits.
Mm-hmm.
Also.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember they even had their own little machinima, right? With EverQuest, and I've said it with the boys, right, in the Discord. I just remember the name Bloody Dove. Like it was their own little character in that little video game, and it was always stuck in my head. I've always watched the show, like the Machinima show or whatever. I forget what it was called, but yeah, they used EverQuest, and they just had that one character named Bloody Dove, and just that was always stuck in my head ever since. And then what was another show? Cheats, right? That's another, or is it basically like the TV show that showed all the cheat codes and stuff like that for the video game, including Godzilla, right? Monsters All Out, Melee, whatever the fuck. I'm like, oh shit, you know, I'm writing it down. Yeah, I remember writing down the code and stuff like that as the show was going on. And what was another one? Attack of the Show, and of course, and Pulse. That was another show. Yeah, so I do have memories with it, of course, but that was the only thing at the time, right? It was on TV. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have the internet to really have such content. No Twitch, nothing. That was the only thing video game related that was on TV. I remember my friends were like, "Hey, have you heard of G4?" I'm like, "Wait, what? What's that?" And then they're like, "Oh, it's literally a TV channel about video games." I'm like, "Oh shit, cool." And then, you know, in middle school, you know, that's why I watched it. I'm like, instant channel to go to, you know, instant favorite. And at some point though, I did grow out of it. I mean, I started watching YouTube stuff, and then I just stopped watching G4, especially with like the stuff that they started airing, like Cops, you know.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Like all of a sudden I was like, wait, where's my video games?
Yeah, where are my video games? You know, they're just starting to show like all the stupid reality TV shit, and that was the end of it for me. And then I guess it shut down at some point, and then yeah, that was the end of it, because YouTube was there to replace it. And, you know, of course, there was like, you know, Angry Video Game Nerd and all that stuff at the time. So YouTube and Twitch later on definitely became the big replacements for it, and you can't really go back on it, right? So G4, the new G4 didn't really offer anything new, and not to mention the whole drama stuff behind it with Frost and all that stuff. Like it was just a mess. And I think like the central content, the central core of it was just not there, just because YouTube and Twitch have already been doing it better, you know, thanks to the individual content creators. That's just that, I think. And they didn't just bring anything new to the table, you know, or anything to distinguish themselves from all the other, you know, IGN and all that stuff, right? Like it's already been done, you know. And like I said, G4 was just a product of its time, and it just couldn't shine in this sort of era. And so that's that, you know. That's just all there is to it. Unfortunate, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. So, best of luck to all the staff and stuff like that. That unfortunately lost their job and stuff like that. I'm sure they'll have some things to look forward to. I mean, some of them are okay because people like Austin Creed, he's a wrestler, so for WWE, so I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. But like everyone else, there are some former YouTubers or content creators and stuff like that within that show. So I think they'll be fine. I think, but we'll have to see about that. Right? They stream, whatever. Hopefully they can kind of get their footing back, and yeah. So, best of luck to them.
Yeah.
All right. If you don't have any further comments, I think we can definitely move on. Okay, this one is another sort of shitty situation involving with Amouranth. Amouranth, I'm not gonna play the video here because it's pretty messed up stuff. So, but basically what happened with Amouranth was she was on stream and she was talking to her husband, which was entirely new. People didn't know about her having a husband. Yeah, so this was that already was like, what? It was a shocker, I guess. But what happened next was that she was on the call with him and pretty much showed that her husband was very abusive. So she was in a pretty abusive relationship for a long time, and so there was domestic abuse. You can definitely tell from just looking at the video, not even have to hear it. She was in tears, very emotional, very fucked up. And of course, the people in the comments were also fucked up in a way, more ways than one. And it was a mess. In fact, the husband had control over her finances, her accounts, everything, like all the important stuff. The husband had full control of all that stuff. So really, she was kind of like a puppet, and the husband was kind of like the marionette sort of person. He was the puppeteer, and pretty much. However, there was further development. There was further development 2 days after, and of course I'm not gonna play the audio here, but pretty much to sum it up, her husband came to realize of how much of an asshole he was, and so he is seeking help for himself, and pretty much according to Amouranth, she is free. She has full control of her accounts again, and she is also seeking some help, legal and emotional counsel, which basically means they're gonna separate, I think, and go on their own ways. So this is actually rather ending on a pretty good note. I mean, bittersweet. I think we'll probably better describe it, but I think it was a much more positive note than one would expect, right? But in between, people were trying to check if she was okay, blah blah blah, all that stuff. It was a lot happening for sure, but within the 2 days, surprisingly, the husband kind of admitted that, he was, being absolutely abusive and stuff like that. Like according to Amouranth, he never really never heard himself what he sounded like and stuff like that. That kind of her words. And so when he first heard himself on stream or in the broadcast or whatever, he fully realized, like, wow, like I'm an asshole, right? So that's just what happened.
Which I can look when okay, it's one thing that you cannot hear yourself of how you being an asshole and stuff, but your actions, come on.
I mean, yeah. Well, that's us looking from the outside in, right? But yeah, when you're the one doing it, sometimes you don't really think about it until you look at it. You look at a video. looking at yourself in the video can be a very different thing. It's a very interesting experience because like you don't even realize what you sound like until you look at a video, right? So that's, you know, when you're editing yourself, it's like, ugh, is that really what I sound like? You know, that's a lot of what people go through, including myself. So that's just funny how it works, right? So you just, again, you just do not know what you sound like until you look at something external, like an external source, which is a video. So I guess that's what the husband went through in that sort of experience, and so he pretty much is now looking, seeking help, and she is essentially kind of like relieved of this abuse at this point. Yep. So you would think in the typical situation, the husband would just be like, yeah, so what, you know, right? Like, you know, oh, wow, that's what I sound like on stream. All right, well, whatever. I mean, I'm rich, whatever. I have all the money, right? But no, I mean, he's just like, oh, like, fuck, man. This is what it actually is like to see from the outside in, I guess, or from the outside. It's like, fuck, man, you know. So plot, that's a quite the plot twist kind of thing, in a good way and for the better. So I'm glad that Amouranth is is on that path, and hope for the best for her, you know. Like, now, yes, you know, there are some funny things to take away from. Like, there are people who are like, well, I donated $3,000, you know, because you were single or something like that. It was some stupid shit. I love Asmongold's take on it. It's like, well, you're a fucking idiot, right? It's like, well, that's what you get for dumping that much money into a person like that, even though you're absolutely not gonna be ever with her, you know. So it's like, what the fuck? Oh man, you gotta love the internet for that kind of shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, any further comment on the story? Good.
Well, are you good?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. When I caught wind of it, I was like, fuck, man. But yeah, I mean, at least it ended on a more happy note, for at least for right now. So they're both seeking help. They're probably gonna separate, but in her words, she says, I'm positive about the future. I am happy that I'm free. So that is probably the best thing that could have happened, essentially. Maybe a little better, but hey, I mean, still pretty good. What's not pretty good, unfortunately, the lovely Warner Brothers Discovery is actually going ahead and selling Lord of the Rings in its entirety as a set of NFTs. Yeah. This will kick off the quote-unquote WB Movieverse, which will release various films as NFTs. So, this is from The Verge, and I guess this is how it looks. I can't, okay, never mind, just like a small image. But yeah, that's kind of how it looks, I guess. Maybe. Let me see, blah, blah, blah. Store listings, Well, whatever the case may be, NFTs suck, and it's just like, why?
NFTs suck, and Discover is just an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's the face of every Lord of the Ring fan right now, just staring at.
Yeah. Yeah, no, just staring. Warner Brothers Discovery. Mm-hmm.
It's just like, bro.
I guess, okay, so further reading into this, it says Warner Brothers partnered up with Web3 firm, Illuvio, to build out its NFT movieverse, which kind of just sounds like videos with a bunch of busy menus slapped on top. And it says, the headline for The Verge, it says, the Warner Brothers Lord of the Rings NFT experience is just the Fellowship in 4K. So it's just stupid. They're just probably desperate for money. That's what it sounds like, of course, because all the money that they've lost. It's such a slap in the face. I'm pretty sure J.R.R. Tolkien is just rolling in his grave right now. Just seeing this shit, I'm sure. So, sucks, but I'm sure it won't work out for too long. People already hate NFTs as is, so I don't think this will take off too much. There will be people who buy it, but I don't think it'll be like a big phenomenon type of shit. So that's that. If we don't have anything else to add, so let's go on to the game's news, including something nice for once, which is the trailer for Final Fantasy 16. Very unexpected. It came out of nowhere. It's a 4-minute trailer. Holy shit. Well, strap in and hold on. Let me actually find the
Oh, Huck's strapping in. Oh, I better get ready, kids.
Oh shit. All right. Well, anyway.
He walked into that door and I opened it. It's like, oh.
Hey, I said strap in. I didn't say strap. Anyway, 4.5-minute video. Let's check it out.
Here we
go.
It has been 1,500 years since the fall of our forebears. And Valesthea slowly ever since.
How much further now?
We're in the middle of the Deadlands.
The blight sucked this place dry. Meaning no trees, no birds, and no magic.
Darkness spreads as day gives way to twilight. The mother's flame now all but a flicker.
We cannot live without the blessing of the crystals. And the crystals work their magic through us. You have been blessed, Joshua.
But who shall claim their fading light? The Grand Duchy of Rosaria, bastion of tradition.
At the very least, we must secure Drake's breath.
The Holy Empire of Sanbreque, where ambition is divine.
The Imperial banner shall fly over every city in storm. All shall bow before their emperor.
The Dalmekian Republic, whose fortunes shift with the desert sands.
And what of our wise rulers? Goaded into war without any thought as to what chaos it might reap.
The Iron Kingdom, forged in faith and fear.
Their souls were sullied with the stain of ether. I merely
I actually really do like the voice acting here. The English one.
The Kingdom of Waloed, indomitable in its isolation.
The dark
And everyone,
of the realm with each passing day.
we are this Final Fantasy entry is going back to its roots.
From a
We're going
single
back to knights
will the
and
land
kingdoms.
ignite. In the year 860, the Imperial army will march upon Rosaria.
Oh. Oh my.
From the slaughter shall a new shadow rise.
They're free.
All right, furry artist.
Fall upon the dominance,
Furry artist. Get on it.
painting their
Get on him.
destinies black as night.
Our ability to summoned beasts of great might should command respect, but instead has left us outcasts.
And so I became their puppet. What makes them think they have the right to use us? To leave us to die when our bodies are spent?
I'll crush him! Flay him!
Holy shit. Holy shit.
So remember, kids, this is the DMC combat guy.
Designer. Mm-hmm.
The one that's also helping him is the Kingdom Hearts development team for their combat system.
It is you who
Yoshi P is the one that's helping along with the game.
Yeah.
With his team that made the stories for Final Fantasy 14.
Rise, ye crownless kings. A reckoning.
Well, Sozin, one of the main composers for 14, is part of this project for
God
its
damn.
music. So this game is stacked.
Yeah.
So again, with Yoshi P at the helm, it's like, okay, we don't need to worry.
That's pretty much like the One Piece crew, man. Like, this is like pretty stacked.
It's like once I heard, like, again, Yoshi P was part of this project, I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Sorry, my mind is saying that was this game like dying, so you had to call like, hey Yoshi, can you work your magic again? Like how you saved 14.
Yep.
Then this probably was Yoshi like at his desk, like thinking of like the next like class to bring into 14, and his cosplay is like,
yep.
fine. Or he's just going like, oh boy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Looking pretty good, man. We had a brief look at the gameplay of things. You know, like you were saying, it's very much like or alluding to, very much looking like a Devil May Cry, those kind of action games. I mean, and you were pointing out, it's a combat designer from Devil May Cry, especially 5. So there you go.
Yep.
So. All right, looking pretty stacked, and then all the names that you dropped, it's like, damn, man, this is quite the crew.
Yeah, so it's like okay, kids, to kind of like maybe like make it over the top more. Are you guys gonna add like Mark Hamill into the mix? Is somehow Mark Hamill gonna be part of it? I'll be laughing my ass off like. Mark Hamill voicing this character is like, oh, okay, Square got budget somehow. Or fuck it, just go like, hey, these are side characters, but we have Matt Mercer, Laura Bailey, Jennifer Hales. Like, excuse me, Square.
Yep.
Aren't you guys still in the red for money? Is this your oh shit button again?
Yeah, I know, right? That's that. Man, it's looking pretty good. In fact, I mean, I think I'm gonna actually play it in English. Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard the Japanese side of things at all, but I think I'm leaning more towards English, man. This is sounding real good, especially with the English accent and all that stuff. It's I think it's really playing into the authenticity of like the era and the place and stuff like that. I think it's looking pretty cool and sounding cool. So
and it's also not to be bad, not mean to their other game. I'm sorry, Forspoken, just you're out of my mind already. Like,
yeah, man.
It's like I am so sorry. It's like I'm more interested with 16 than Forspoken.
I'm definitely gonna wait on it. But I mean, if people say it's like, oh, it's really good, then maybe I'll consider it. But I'm not gonna pre-order or buy it on release. I think I'm gonna wait.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely for sure. But with 16, man, I think it's a day one purchase, man. It's definitely looking like that more and more. I think.
But I did read some people like saying that they're kind of mad that at the moment it's just a PS5 exclusive. but it might be just a time exclusive. But
I'm pretty sure.
you know, me being an asshole, going like, oh. Now you know how we feel when you have your exclusives.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's just how it goes, man.
I mean, again, here I will send you a screenshot so people can see, like, again, who's part of this staff, and it's like, Jesus, like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so stacked? You know?
Yeah.
I hate my computer for doing this. It's like, where did it all go? Where are you? There, yeah. Look at that development staff. Look at those names. Look what they did.
Yep. Producer Yoshida P. That's Yoshi P, right? So
Yep.
Yep. And then let me see. Ryota Suzuki. Yeah. For combat director. Devil May Cry 5, Dogma, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Look at that. Right? Character design, Takahashi, which worked on 14. It's at 11, and then 10, of course.
Yep.
Masayoshi Soken, Final Fantasy 14 Online. Nanashino Game Series, and I love this little last part. Mario through hoops 3-on-3, man. Yo, I'm sold.
Hey, that game was good.
Yo, I'm sold, man.
It looked stupid at first, but when you started to play Mario with hoops, it was like, holy crap, this is actually a good basketball game. I like it.
Yep. So,
but I just like Ryota. They also added, like, he also helped with Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's like, are we gonna see references? Are we gonna see Cable running around?
Oh no.
Are we gonna see...
Oh man. Okay, so what's going on with the story though? Like, so are these people like the vessels of the summons,
so
like Aeons and stuff like that? Okay.
Yeah. So they are. I'm just gonna use the word. They're avatars of their gods.
Okay. Right. So, do they eventually become like, you know, Ifrit and what was Ramu? I think it was the big
Ramoth. The old man.
Yeah.
Ramoth.
Yeah. The big lightning old man. Yeah. Yeah.
Where sometimes in 15 you could be like in the fucking sewers, and when you summon him, his spear just goes straight down to where you are.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
You're just staring at like, that's property damage.
Yep.
I'm so sorry.
It's probably gonna be an avatar for Leviathan, I'm sure, Shiva and all that stuff.
Yeah, we are seeing the avatar for Shiva. Well, the known summons or gods at this point is Ifrit, Phoenix, Bahamut, Ramoth, Shiva, and Titan.
Okay. Right, Titan. Yeah.
Oh, and Garuda.
Okay.
The wind summon.
Right. I wonder if they could include some of the Aeons from like 10. You see from 10, like Ixion or whatever, the horse.
That would be a weird transformation for the avatar of Ixion.
Yeah.
Roar! Then you just see him like going there. It's like, oh.
Yeah, and then Valkyrie or whatever. Yeah, and then the Magus sisters. That'd be really weird.
Yeah, it's just one person, but somehow they split
into three.
And you're just like, how?
Huh? Yeah. Yeah, and then who was another one? Anima or Anima or whatever, and then Yojimbo. That'd be pretty funny, actually. Yojimbo would be a pretty cool one if they.
It would,
yeah.
But again, it wouldn't like match because of the attire.
Yeah, I mean he'll be like the foreigner, right?
Yeah,
but you know, of that land, right? So that'd be pretty cool, interesting if they somehow include that. Who was another one? I think that's it for like the unique aeons, I guess, right? Because, yeah. Well, anyway, so I think it's pretty cool. I do like the overall design of it so far, the direction and the story direction, stuff like that. It seems pretty cool. Yeah, so I still am very much looking forward to it, for sure. Along with a lot of people, man. So I think this is gonna be a good one. I think it's gonna be pretty solid Final Fantasy in the main lineup of things. All right, so next, just a bit of Pokemon news. Just want to bring up the partner Pokemon for Iono. Iono was previously revealed, but now they've revealed her partner, which is Bellibolt. Bellibolt is obviously electric, but I don't know if she has another type to them. Maybe water? I'm not sure, but
It's electric.
yeah, just electric.
Boogie woogie woogie.
どんなもんじゃ TV をご覧の皆の者おはこんハロチョーあなたの目玉をエレキレット何者なんじゃなんじゃもです今日も世界の皆の者に向けて動画を配信していくぞいやー前回話したけどさ僕もポケモンたちとピクニックしたくなってサンドイッチの材料買ってきちゃった
Subway, eat.
Yep.
Or, I'm sorry, Firehouse subs.
Firehouse, yeah, Firehouse subs.
なんじゃこの相棒は何者なんじゃゲームの答え合わせたくさんの予想コメントありがとうだぞ世界中の皆の者が挑戦してくれたみたいで僕嬉しい答えを今日まで引っ張ったおかげで動画の視聴者数もしびれどん登りの超激バズおっとっとっとさーて皆の者のコメントを確認新米トレーナー氏もしかしてピカチュウですか違うんだなでも同じ電気タイプだよグレックルマニア氏グレックルかなあー確かになんとなく似てるかも持ち物は磁石師いやーいつもありがとう何おバッチリ正解ちょっと待っててねダメまだ正解は見せないよすぐに見せたらもったいないしじゃあもう皆の者準備いい目をコイルにして注目せよ皆の者お待ちかねの正解発表もういきなり出てきちゃびっくりするよよいしょ僕の超級
She's not wearing anything under there.
Oh God, why?
どう予想合ってた
Because she's not real. She's just a VTuber model.
That'd be actually interesting to see who the real person is, right? If that's it, that is the case. There's Bellibolt. Looks kind of dumb if you ask me, but that's the face. That's the actual eyes and face. Yep.
It reminds me of the substitute doll.
Yeah, it kind of does. Someone made a meme about like the avocado. It reminds him of the avocado, yeah. When you cut it.
皆の者ってば僕に興味津々ってことだねさすが僕バズりまくりの人気者でもこれってまだまだ僕の人気もチャンネル登録者数も上がるってことなのでは
What was...
じゃはじめましての人のためにババーンと自己紹介僕はなんじゃもネットに動画をアップして夢を振りまくインフルエンサーそれでパルデア地方の発酵シティで電気タイプのジムリーダーとしても活躍中ハラバリーたちと一緒に挑戦者氏とバトルを繰り広げてるさ そこの君も僕のファンが楽しめるようなしびれるバトルをよろしく。ビリビリっときちゃった君はパルデア地方の発酵シティまで僕に挑戦しにおいでませませ。いつでもコラボしてあげるから。てなわけであなたの目玉をエレキレットエレキトリカルストリーナー何者なんじゃなんじゃもでした。またね。
Is it bad that I want Ilessa from Black and White?
I think it was Black and
just
White.
like to just show up and just critique her outfit.
Yeah, her outfit, yeah.
Just full on rip her to shred. Like, what are you wearing? Like, she's going like, what the fuck are you wearing? What is this?
Honey,
No.
what are you wearing?
Yeah, she'd be like, ew, what the? She'd be like, no, stop.
Yeah.
She'd be like, stop the whole production. Hold on, they gotta fix this.
Yeah.
There we go.
But you did bring up an interesting point. What if this is just an VTuber avatar? Like what if, you know, that there's a real person behind it instead? Like, and it just looks like a pretty normal looking person. It would be pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, so everything we're seeing is like through the filters and stuff.
Yeah. Or it's just like a 3D thing or whatever, 3D software within the game or something. That'd be pretty funny. I mean, I'd be down for that kind of twist. I would definitely
call it.
Yeah.
The real person behind behind her is Sakurai.
Okay. Alright.
When you defeat her, they just, you know, press the button.
Or Sakurai reference. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, it's actually Sakurai, and he'd be like,
alright.
Hey everyone, I'm just here to just say Smash is not ready yet. Like, just name drop. Go play Smash and play my baby boy Kirby. It's like, wait. Was this a sponsor?
It'd be really funny though if it was actually a dude, like behind the avatar or whatever. So that'd be pretty funny. A lot. I mean, you know, with a voice changer, obviously.
Yep.
Which is very much possible within Pokemon. But anyway, that's the new Pokemon. So not really resonating with me, so to say, but people are definitely commenting about it. Let me see about this one. Oh yeah, this is just the official artwork for Iono. You definitely did see the teeth here, for sure. And yeah. Outfit and everything. Hair, all that stuff. Looking pretty good. So yep, that's it on that one. Alright, well, we're back into the shitty news, kind of, for games. We have been talking about Gotham Knights, but it's looking pretty bad for Gotham Knights because there's been news by people who had the early copies of the game that the game only runs at 30 frames per second, despite being on PS5 and stuff like that for current gen consoles. Even though they're like, we can only put this on current gen consoles instead of having it on, you know, the PS4 and stuff like that. So the whole point of it was just to see if we can have, you know, better performance and stuff like that, since they're putting their sources into their into those versions of the console or versions of the game, excuse me. And yet we got only 30 frames per second for consoles. That's pretty bad, right, for today's standards. Did you catch wind of this for Gotham Knights?
Yeah, when someone like mentioned that it was like locked to 30 frames per second, I was like, wait, hold on, no, that can't be true.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
It is. Yeah. That is the kicker, man. That's the kicker of all this.
I mean, there are some games, yes, that are actually better locked in for 30 frames per second and stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, for an action game, yeah, you definitely want to have 60 frames per second to have that smooth. Now, I mean, it definitely does have a different look to it. Definitely, if you want a more cinematic look to it, yeah, 30 frames per second is better in that regard. But I think in the end, people just want 60 frames per second in their gameplay. You know, when I played Yakuza 0, it was great at 60 frames per second. But then when it came to like games like Yakuza 6, that was locked to 30 frames per second on the console. And yeah, it was kind of jarring, to be honest. Very jarring.
Yep.
So, cutscenes are okay at 30 frames per second, because that gives it that cinematic look to it. But when it comes to actual gameplay, 60 frames, that's the way to go, I think. In my opinion. It's just something about it, you know, but unfortunately, it looks like the entire thing is locked at 30 frames, and it was even confirmed by the devs. Which, let me see. Here's a quote from one of the devs on Discord, I believe. And it says, due to the types of features we have in our game, like providing a fully untethered co-op experience in our highly detailed open world, it's not as straightforward as lowering the resolution and getting a higher frame rate or FPS. For this reason, our game does not have a performance/quality toggleable option and will run at 30 frames on consoles. And yeah, so the game is coming out by the time this episode comes out, the game is already out. And from the early reviews, it looks like it's either average or not looking good, like below average. So it doesn't even like exceed like an 8 out of 10 or anything like that. It looks like it's at highest a 7 out of 10 for right now. So it's not looking good. It definitely is not looking good, unfortunately, for Gotham Knights. So there's gonna be a number of patches for sure, but I think by the time those patches come out, it's like, well, you know, people are gonna be falling off the game by that point. So,
and that also, like, what put me off was just the combat.
Yeah,
like
something was off. Yeah,
it looked off. I'm sorry. Like, if you compare Gotham Knights with, you know, the Arkham games, I lean more to the Arkham games.
Yeah, that combat looked like butter smooth in comparison, man. But for it to, it's not like, I don't think even with the frame rate, right? Like, even so, putting that aside, like the animations look weird. It's just stiff or something. Something's off. So that
stiff.
Yeah.
The whole explanation they gave with Red Hood able to have a magical sigil for him to jump high.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's a family member that makes his own gadget.
Yeah.
What happened to grappling hook? Hello? But the one that really made me like freaking do a backflip into my face was, I'm Nightwing. I play Fortnite. It's like, oh my god, he has a Fortnite parachute. That's
yeah.
Like, you're just doing all like your Jesus.
Yeah.
Why?
He's gonna do the stupid dance, like the I don't know, fucking stupid. All those dances you see in Fortnite. That'd be pretty funny. But no, I mean, if you look at the gear system too, it's like, oh my god, it's probably gonna be one of those games where you just have to grind for the gear or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. But either way, I mean, there are a lot of things around it too, just that aren't looking good at all. Again, not to mention I have other games to look forward to, so I'd rather put my eggs into those baskets than putting my time into Gotham Knights, you know. So that's that. Yeah. So, any more comments from you? Are we good? Okay.
For those who are going to play it and enjoy it,
Yeah.
More power to you.
Yeah.
This game not for me.
Yeah, it's not for me either, man. I'm gonna have to pass on it. I've lost so much interest. I was initially interested. I was like, oh, I want to play Red Hood. It looks pretty cool. But
yeah,
over time,
and once we saw the gameplay of Red Hood, we're like,
yeah, man. Yeah, especially with back.
So we gave that disappointed like parent like, oh.
Especially with Batgirl, man. Like, once I saw Batgirl fighting, I'm like, I don't know.
There was like one scene or one fighting, I guess, with Batgirl. The guy was in front of her. She took a swing. Like he was right in front of her, and I guess the hitbox did not register. So she took the swing, misses, but somehow the guy over here got the hit, and I'm like,
oh my god, really?
Like if you were there in the moment, you're like, if you're here and your fist was here, but the guy's over there.
So it looks like even some of the hitboxes are like kind of fucked up too. Jesus.
Yep.
Damn, man.
Or my favorite one is like because they are kind of using the same like mechanics and such from the Arkham games. You know, you press triangle or whatever to do a counter.
Yeah.
So there was like two people here, and they had like the indications counter now. She only countered one guy, but the other guy was in the animation for like being countered.
Oh.
And then they both fell over. I was like,
oh my god. It's like a bad pro wrestling match. Like whenever the one wrestler does something different, but the other wrestler's still on that script or whatever, right? So they just like like they just randomly go because that's that's what they're told to do. But the wrestler all of a sudden kind of like does an impromptu like thing. You know what I mean? That's why there are times where like you see like those wrestling fails, right? Especially from WWE, like. The person gets like randomly hit like from like thin air or whatever because that's what they rehearsed, so they're just like randomly go or they just like randomly fall into like a table or something. That's what it kind of like reminds me of. It's like a bad wrestling match.
Yeah. So again, I'm like, wow, this game had promise, and then
yep. Very unfortunate, but it's looking pretty bad right now. It's funny, even a game called Callisto Protocol took a jab at it too, because it said on their Twitter, it said, we would love to inform you that we will be shipping globally on December. That first reply is very I saw your eyes were just like, wait a minute, what is that? Globally on December 2nd, and yes, we have a 60 frames per second performance mode. Yeah, I'm glad it's not explicit, but it's just very weird. Meanwhile, Gotham Knights, and it's just like fucking what's it, Nick, right? The Fox.
Yeah.
And then and then with Brendan Fraser's like like sad eyes or something with the hair. Oh man, it's just, I guess it sums it up, but it's like very just like unpleasing to the eyes. Boy. Very unflattering for sure. But yes, they took a jab at the 30 frames per second thing. Definitely see here. It's just hilarious. But yeah, that's the state of things. That's how it goes, unfortunately. All right, mobile game coming from, surprisingly, Mortal Kombat. So yeah, one of our games announced a Mortal Kombat Onslaught, which is an upcoming mobile RPG, the first mobile exclusive cinematic story experience, coming 2023. Developed and co-published by NetherRealm Studios. So that's what they've been working on, I guess. It's a mobile game, not so much a actual next Mortal Kombat for right now. Now it's with a different team within NetherRealm, possibly. Yeah, I don't know if like Ed Boon, Ed Boon's like fully behind her and
trolling the shit out of fans right now.
Yeah.
I think that's what Ed Boon is doing.
Yep. So, doesn't let me see. let's see if what the. Oh, okay. It doesn't say much about it. It just says, "Oh, sign up for updates." Yeah. And coming 2023. Doesn't really say. Wait, let me see if Nibelian put out a thread. Nope. All right. So pretty much that's it. There's not much more detail on that. It's just a mobile game. But it says players must build a team of fighters from a vast roster of characters and unleash them in a massive real-time group battle to stop a dark and dangerous threat from wreaking havoc across the realms. That's pretty much it. Yeah, there's not too much detail, just a bunch of fluff, you know, your usual. So yep. Any other comments about a Mortal Kombat mobile game?
Are you gonna be free to play or pay to win?
I know, right? Like, is it gonna have a gacha and stuff like that? Oh man. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. Alright, well, at least there is happy times in another group of gaming, because Silent Hill 2 Remake is actually real. There's been, there's been rumors floating around and stuff like that about Silent Hills being remade and stuff like that. And guess what? It's real. Now actually has come to reality. Let's check out the trailer. Ooh, 60 frames and everything.
This is my fat pad.
Oh, left-handed. Okay. I mean, wow, look at that.
Could she really be here, waiting for me?
No. You just hear someone behind him. No.
No.
Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago.
If there's a game that deserved a remake, it's definitely this one.
My restless dreams.
Because it's looking really good.
I see that town. Silent Hill.
Ooh.
You know.
I know what you are.
Okay, sorry. Oh my god. I am so demented to see that scene of Pyramid Head going at it.
I know why I needed
you. Stuck in the closet.
Yep.
It's all over now.
This is in-game cinematic stuff too. Holy shit.
I don't need you anymore.
Okay, I like the meme that somebody made with that one little scene of him just hitting the nurse.
Oh.
It's like here's a nurse minding her own damn business, and then all of a sudden a jackass comes out and whacks her shit, and it's like, yeah.
Mary?
Had a little laugh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there it is.
Here he is. Here's Daddy.
Pyramid Head. Yep.
Oh yeah, we're gonna give him a pyramid of a head.
Unreal Engine. Yeah, it's running on. Looks like Unreal 5.
Look, kids. Yeah, PS5 and Steam.
Yeah, PS5 and Steam, man. Yeah. Konami actually doing something.
How dare they? Konami's supposed to only make Yu-Gi-Oh cards and pachinko machines
and medical
they,
equipment.
Yep. And how dare they fucking make a game again?
Yeah, right.
How dare you? You're breaking the norm.
Yep. Well, specifically, I mean, I think they're publishing the game, so they're not directly doing something. But hey, I mean, they're finally putting out a game. That's for sure. Huh. After all these years.
After 6,000 years.
Yeah. It makes me wonder though if they'll like actually continue with PT without Kojima, right? But obviously without Norman Reedus, right? Or Norman Reedus, excuse me, not Norman Reedus. Reedus, right? Without him, they'll probably like replace a different actor, maybe if they decide to do PT.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Silent Hill 2 remake is like a taste of what's to come, right? Maybe for a brand new Silent Hill, And this is just like the skeleton and stuff like that. But yeah, looking pretty good though. I mean, especially for a game like this, right? So. Or from the era of, I believe, PS2, right? So, I mean, I have never played any Silent Hill game, so I'm kind of out of the realm for that. I mean, have you dealt with any Silent Hill game at all yourself?
I mean, I'll probably get the game, maybe. I'm not chicken shit.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's definitely the time to get Silent Hills 2, now it's all being remade and stuff like that. Definitely the time.
But, I don't know. I didn't... Did they play the original, like, score at the end?
It sounded like it.
Like,
yeah.
Like, it was like... Guess so.
Oh no, hold on. It might be.
I'm ready.
Here, I think.
Mary?
Yeah, that was the part. So, I think. Yep. But Pyramid Head though.
Everyone's getting wet because he's wet.
Yep. Yep. Can't wait to see all the memes and fan art of Pyramid Head again.
Now, kids, is his ass reduced, or is it like fat when he first appeared in Dead by Daylight?
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know what happened to Pyramid in Dead by Daylight, his ass was huge.
Yep.
And everyone was praising it. And then here comes Dead by Daylight. They reduced the shit out of it, and everyone was like, why?
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna go to town. I mean, when you're young and you saw that scene, you didn't know what the hell he was doing until you actually read up, like, oh, he was actually,
yeah.
Oh dear. Oh my.
Putting that Pyramid Head into use, right? I mean,
using that sword.
Yep. Yep. So, yep, Silent Hill 2 coming back, man, making a comeback. So I'm glad to see the fans are happy and looking forward to it, right? So, did it say any release date at all? Let me see. Let me check it out. I don't think so. There's no like hard release date or anything like that. Doesn't really say, but probably next year. So sometime next year. Looks like next year's gonna be stacked though. Holy shit. With all the.
I want to say if they play it out right, around next year, around this time, like October, if they play it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, October. That'd be pretty cool. Very much appropriate. But yeah, glad to see Konami is doing something, I guess, right? After all that drama. But yeah, not to mention, let's not forget they're doing some sort of like other stuff on the side too, including a movie. I think a movie series based off of Silent Hill 2. I don't. Let me see. Teaser trailer. Why is it 6 minutes though? Holy shit! My god. That's so much. Oh wow, they're like giving us like a in-depth. Oh, it's like a. Okay, I see.
That. But in the second game, you know, the creator of the game have changed the rules. You know, we were a bit at his core. It's
yeah. So it looks like it's just like, you know, a bit of like behind the scenes type of stuff. Let me see. I guess the beginning is only the teaser. Okay, I see.
I mean, say what you will about like the Silent Hill movies. I like number one. One was like the most like This was okay. 2 was like, oh god.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely not the first time. So they're just doing another movie. But it says also Silent Hill Ascension, a new interactive video streaming experience. Okay. And Silent Hill F teaser trailer. Completely new story set in his 1960s Japan, featuring a beautiful yet horrifying world. Written by Ryu Kishi 07, famed for Japanese visual novels dealing with murder mysteries, psychological and supernatural horror. And you kind of see like some of the images right here, right? Screenshots. Ugh. So here's the teaser trailer for that. So what? Okay, so I guess it is some sort of like gameplay, yeah, or a video game of sorts, yeah.
At first, when this trailer came out, I thought it was a Fatal Frame.
Yeah. Kind of looks like Parasite Eve if it was remade. Oh. Oh my. Oh my. Oh god. Oh,
look
at that.
everybody, it's those fucking flowers.
Yep, the spider lilies. Like we haven't seen that before, right? In a recent video game.
Or anime.
Yep. Oh.
Still bang.
Oh, God. God.
You know there's that one person out there going like, jackpot. It's like, what? Really?
Okay. Huh. Now look at that. They're actually doing something right. Konami is making video games again. You know.
I don't like it. Go back to making particle machines.
So the producer Motoi Okamoto, excuse me, has previously worked at Nintendo and worked on games such as Luigi's Mansion and Pikmin 1 and 2 and more. Okay. That's actually pretty funny. Okay, so some details about the Silent Hill 2 remake. Coming to Steam as well, built with Unreal Engine 5, utilizing both Lumen and Nanite. Overhauled combat system and set pieces. 3D audio and DualSense support. No loading screens, seamless gameplay. Wow, look at that. I guess there's some sort of like teaser thing in. Oh no. Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna. Because there's a thing called the short message. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But yeah, I guess it says according to Rebellion, you can add it to your wish list on Steam. So there you go. Yeah, looking pretty good from the trailers, right? So, anything else you wanted to add or any comments?
Don't fuck it up.
Yeah. Hopefully it's good for the fans. Am I gonna get it? Probably not. I mean, I'm not a. I haven't grown up with the Silent Hill franchise, so I'm not really too attached to it. But but I know there are people who really looking forward to this, so happy for them. So that is that for Silent Hill. Okay, let's dive into the anime, movies, and more section. Starting with Ezra Miller, the lovely actor for The Flash. Ezra Miller has not pled guilty to the 2 counts of felony burglary. If convicted, they could face a maximum sentence of up to 26 years and $2,000 in fines. I mean, I don't know why they add that $2,000 in there. It's like, well, there's the 26 years of possible prison, right? So, but
keep going.
Yeah. So it's such a like random thing, right? But at this point, yeah. So I think what's happening here is that Miller will be appearing in court, but virtually, right? So, so he'll be, or excuse me, they'll be on the webcam and will show up on the screen and appear in court that way. So it'll be like a remote court case, I guess you can say. But yeah, despite all this, fucking the movie is still going, I guess. So I guess once they're found guilty, that's literally like the last straw. That has to be the last straw for the Flash movie to being put into the can. Because no one wants to watch it at that point, you know. You gotta find another actor for the Flash. Any comments on this case here?
Warner Brothers DC, I think you guys need some help here.
Yeah. I don't know how. Yeah, like they're not even like, oh, we'll put it on pause or whatever, right? Until further investigation, blah blah blah, right? But they're just like, oh, we're still on board, we're still going, blah blah blah, you know. In fact, we even have a script for Flash 2 already, so that's crazy. Despite what Warner Brothers Discovery is going through, canceling all those shows and animations and all that stuff, and yet they are keeping this. It's like, okay, I don't get it at all. They're not even putting it on pause, they're still going. So it looks like they're like really confident that somehow that Miller is gonna win the case, you know. We'll see. We'll see about that. Alright, well, speaking of pleading guilty and all that stuff, we're gonna see She-Hulk Season 2. The superhero lawyer series is still going. It's going to be another 9 episodes, legal comedy with Titania Maslany. as returning as the She-Hulk or slash Jen Walters. So,
I mean,
yeah.
Whether or not you hate the show or not, these series, I swear, it has to be an even number, like, of episodes. Because, you know, if it was 10, 5 can be 5 episodes is your build up, and then the rest of the series is the payoff.
I see what you're saying.
To have 9 episodes, it's like, where is that middle episode to say, okay, here, this is where we start, doing the whole payoff. Yeah.
4. Episode 4 would have to be the one, right?
I know.
Or 5, I don't know. I guess. Cause wait, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I can do math. So yeah, so 5 would have to be in the middle.
He can do math.
Quick math. No, so 5 would have to be the middle episode, right? So the midpoint. But I just hope that it's good. I mean, I couldn't bring myself to enjoy it fully for this season. The first episode was fine. The second episode was okay. The episode with with Wong and stuff like that was okay. But Wongers, yep.
It's so bad because I have a coworker. His last name is Wong.
Oh no!
And I actually went on the PA. Wongers, we need help in aisle 9.
Oh man!
And all of a sudden you hear him. It's like, I don't have my sling ring. I'm sorry. It's like, okay, yay!
Yeah.
We're like,
yep.
And then here comes our store manager. Can you not do that? Can you guys act normal? Ma'am, I want you to re-ask. I want you to re-say that question, but slowly, and look at us directly.
Yep.
Good.
The rest of the show I could not enjoy, other than the Daredevil episode. I think that was probably the best episode, other than the beginning, and then the or probably in fact the best episode, because I actually liked Matt Murdock, with Charlie Cox returning right from the Netflix series, and I actually liked that episode. It was actually interesting going on. It was interesting conversations between Matt Murdock and Jen Walters, kind of, right? I mean,
yeah, the cartoon scene was actually really fun.
Yeah, that too, right? Something was actually interesting happening for once, unlike the rest of the show. I mean, I just could not bring myself to enjoy it, even if I did tolerate this portrayal of Jen Walters for right now. But everything else was just like, I don't care, even especially by the finale of it. I was just like, oh my gosh, it was. I get what they're trying to do, but it was just executed rather subpar. I think by that point I just kind of like lost it, and it was just like a big so what, you know what I mean? Especially with the whole like fourth wall breaking thing. Like, I get it, that's what she was supposed to do, but it seems like they're really trying to like drive it home as like the main part of their source of comedy in a lot of scenes, and just didn't work. I think it just,
I mean, the finale, the season finale was pretty much taking a jab on Disney itself, and also at the ones actually just bashing it just because they just want to bash it. Right.
It's that whole self-awareness thing, and I don't know, man. At that point, I just was not buying it, man. It's just, I just want to see, it's funny, right? Like, because they were like, oh well, if we, they even like jab at the whole like formula with Marvel, right? With like the origin story, stuff.
Yep.
But that's funny enough. Like, I think that's what a lot of people wanted to just see, just the origin story of Jen Walters, right? Not just like not this like, this like poorly written rom-com comedy thing where it takes a jab at Marvel and at itself too, being self-aware, trying to be funny with the kids and stuff like that. It's just like it just flopped, I think. I don't think it hit home with anyone, really. Maybe a few people, or maybe a handful of people, but I don't know, man. A lot of people didn't like it. I didn't like it. What about you?
Yeah. I enjoyed it, so I guess I'm one of the very few.
Yeah.
But again, like I was saying, with the final finale, it was just actually just taking a jab at the ones that, you know, would just like to say, oh, this show blows, and then when you actually ask these people, like, did you even watch the show? They go like, no, we didn't.
Right.
Like, wow, it's like, damn, you really are those kind of people. You just want to make noise without
hop on the old wagon.
Yeah, the hate train.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's just a lot of characters
again, like
that I didn't care about. Oh, go ahead.
These shows are not meant for everyone.
Yeah, you could say that.
As my friend said, that the MCU is right now becoming Kingdom Hearts. Like, if you miss one small show or shit, you're gonna be lost in future installments.
Yeah, especially by the finale of it. If you don't watch the finale, it's like, yeah, there's some things that are setting up, but getting there was such a slog. It was just poorly written and poorly utilized. Like, there are some good things to take away from, but a lot of it was just like potential that was just wasn't fully utilized and used and stuff like that by the writers.
Yeah, that's why, again, like with the 9 episode shit, to me, you want to like make a series kind of good, you gotta have like an even number of episodes. Odd number episodes, it's a really toss up.
I don't think that's really the issue here. I think it's just poorly written. You can make a, I mean, fucking, what is it? Was Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, how many episodes was that? Was that like 6?
Let's see. Yeah, it was 6 episods.
Yeah.
So it was an even number.
Well, I mean, that's not my issue. It's just like, even that was like a series that had less numbers, and it was way more, it felt way more compelling.
It also becomes down to like the writers, like,
yeah,
like you can tell where Disney was putting their A game, and their B and C games. So it's like, I understand why people hate this series, because, you know, it was poorly written, but again, you're kind of seeing like how Disney is putting priority over like different staff members for whatever projects.
Yeah.
Like, again, like my favorite jab from the finale was Kevin. There's a character named Kevin, I'm telling you what he is.
Right.
Just outright tells Jen, like, could you go back to being Jen? You're very expensive, and besides, all of our animators moved on to another project, and you hear like a certain musical sting is like, ah. It's like, yeah, you fuckers. Like,
yeah.
Like, that was like a funny jab to me. She's like,
yep.
And then like, again, she called out like a lot of stuff that's on our MCU, like mine. Where are the X-Men? I can't tell you. It's like, no, you can tell us. Just give us like a time frame. You could just say in 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I mean, like, all these ideas, like when you explain them on paper and stuff like that, they all sound pretty like potentially fun. But again, the problem was just how it was executed and how it was overall written by that team of writers. Like, also like the feminism stuff was just like the cherry on top. Like, it was a bit much, but I get that, you know, Jen Walters, you know, kind of goes through stuff because she is, you know, female and stuff like that, a female lawyer, but it felt like it was like the main part of the story, which I just kind of checked out at that point too. So yeah, like, it just didn't feel like She-Hulk. Even though, yeah, I mean, it didn't feel like it was about She-Hulk. It just felt like it was just like a platform for feminism, and I think it in fact made it worse even though it's not the intention, of course, because it's just like stereotyping. There's a lot of stereotyping with men. There's a stereotyping with women. You know, I just think it just made it worse, if anything. So I don't think it helps with the message overall. It just wasted that. So it wasted that time that when it could have been told for a much more fulfilling story, but instead it's just kind of just like you just wind up not caring, and it's just like kind of just filler, a lot of side plot. When by the end of it, it was just story. The main story was like, but by the end of it, that's the part you care most, I guess, to an extent. Yeah, it is. I could not enjoy it overall, like I said, and hopefully this is the season to care about. You know, legal comedy or whatever. You know, so hopefully they don't stick with that formula again. Hopefully they'll actually, like, you know, tell more about Jen Walters and She-Hulk, right? Because, like, you know, from the beginning, you know, there was that whole controversy with, like, you know, Jen saying like, oh, I'm better than you because I went through this stuff as a woman, blah blah blah. You know, that could have been a beginning of a character arc. You know, like, oh, I'm in control when she's not in control. And then it could have been like an opportunity for her to see her to be like, you know, kind of like go through like a self-learning thing and learn about herself, like, you know, hey, you know, maybe I am not as in control as I thought I was with this new power, you know. And that could have been something to look into along the way as she is trying to become a superhero lawyer, you know. But instead it's just kind of just like, oh, there's a wedding episode, oh, there's this stupid thing with the trademark, which again, that could have been an interesting episode potentially, but poorly utilized with the character dynamics and stuff like that. And just on top of like all the other annoying characters that I didn't care about, it's just kind of like wishy-washy, you know. It's just whatever, you know. And so with that, I think She-Hulk so far anyway is by far the quote-unquote like worst Disney Plus series with Marvel, quote-unquote.
Yeah, but a lot of people will fight you like there's other like worse Marvel
stuff, but
stuff, and I'm like, okay, is it one of the worst? No, it has its downfalls, yes, but like again, it's like it's everyone's own opinion, but
right,
it's the ones that you really have to like know, like, okay, this guy is fucking just trolling his ass off to make people like side with him. Like, if I gave a rating for She-Hulk, it's a flat 6. Like it's not like, it's not good, it's not awesome, it's just you're there, okay.
It exists, pretty much.
Yeah.
For me, it's a 4. It falls more into the below average because, you know, 5 is in the middle. And not to mention, like, yeah. Well, anyway, the good things to take away from I found was the CGI effects, Daredevil, the beginning, right, with, you know, Hulk and everything. I like the beginning. I like the first episode, right. That was fun.
A lot of people are saying that the CGI on She-Hulk is fucking ugly.
I thought it was okay. Maybe it could have been better, sure, but it wasn't horrible.
Yeah, it could have been better, but shit, like are you expecting like Endgame like CGI on every of these fucking episodes? Like, okay,
yeah.
How much money do you have right now? Why? Because you're gonna give your entire savings.
My biggest problem with the series is just the writing. I think I can like ignore the CGI stuff like that, but if the writing is poor, I mean, that's the big issue. I mean, but if the writing is great, I can definitely look over a lot of the other negatives, right? You know, if it was a fun show, hey, I mean, I'll willing to overlook that, but it didn't. So that's just my 2 cents on it. I mean, what is considered the worst Disney Plus series with Marvel?
A lot of people are saying Loki was the worst, Moon Knight was
really?
the worst.
No.
Others are saying that, yeah, if you look, like, people hated Moon Knight. People hated Loki. Because they said
like
that's
Moon
not
Knight
my
better than-
Loki.
Personally, I like Moon Knight better than this. That's kind of weird.
A lot of people are saying that this Loki is not my Loki. You know, like the whole. That's why there's a hate train for Loki.
Really?
For Moon Knight, most of their complaints is that it's not part of the MCU, and it's like you don't fucking know that. I read like some people didn't like WandaVision because it was slow in the beginning and it didn't go anywhere. It's like, are we watching the same shit?
I know, right? What the fuck?
WandaVision was actually not anagram. What's it called? WandaVision was pretty much the stages of grief.
Yeah.
A lot of people also with WandaVision said they thought the callback to old sitcom shows from, you know, like the 40s and up was like a cheap way to get people into the movie. I was like, you realize some of us, like me, who was in my 30s, I enjoy like those old sitcoms. I love Lucy, The Golden Girls. Like, fuck off, please.
Mm-hmm.
Now everything has to be in color. Sometimes black and white is actually freaking more
telling,
appealing than color.
Yeah.
Frick, when they said Vision's color when he was in black and white wasn't red, it was actually blue, and I was like, yeah. When you do color theories and stuff, like, yeah, you kind of have to go the opposite color to get the more vibrant looking when you go black and white.
Interesting.
Come on, people.
Yeah.
Others who hated Miss Marvel was because lo and behold, which I wasn't surprised, it was a female-focused show. And it was a teenager. They're like, why are they showing teenagers in my MCU?
See, that one to me is probably the second worst one, just because of like what happens later on, which disregarding the whole female thing. It's just like by the second half, it's like doesn't pay. There's no like good payoff for any of that stuff. Like the whole like the story with the villain, the antagonist with of that show is like pretty dumb to me, from what I can remember anyway. It's just like I like the first half, so to say, because I like the flavor of it or the art direction of that. You know, I didn't mind it, but by the second half of it with the villain stuff, I think bogged it down quite a bit, or watered it down quite a bit. If not, that was the worst part of it, was like the story with the villains, how they were incorporated into the story and everything, and stuff around it. I think they should have just focused on the origin of Miss Marvel or whatever. So that's kind of like my 2 cents on that. But I still think this She-Hulk is by far the worst one. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. That's just me. That's just me.
Again, people, don't take this with like facts, like final
factual. Don't take it like
this.
That.
Is all our opinion. Like,
yeah.
Like as I keep saying, like these shows are not meant for everybody.
Yeah. I mean,
fucking, I hated Hawkeye. Hawkeye to me was fucking boring until we got to like the last 2 episodes.
I like some things from Hawkeye. Hawkeye to me is like very in the middle. Like it's kind of just it's definitely there. You know what I mean? It just exists. I do like some things from it, like, you know, diving into more of Hawkeye's feelings and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, but
like when he was training Kate Bishop, like that's where I wanted to go. Like, yeah, I like this part.
Right.
And then, you know, when they did the big villain reveal, I was like, half of us called it by a mile.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, that's it on that part. Let's get through the other stuff. Speaking of season 2 of something, Edgerunners. You know, Cyberpunk's Edgerunners. was very much sought after. People wanted more of it, but guess what? Unfortunately, there's no season 2 coming. I mean, if you look at the show, what happens? I mean, you really can't expect that, right? So I think what the best thing could happen is just more of Studio Trigger doing more stories, like different stories with different characters and stuff like that within the Cyberpunk universe. And I think that's just that. I think that's the you know, the beauty of Edgerunners is that, you know, it's like a not a self-contained, but like it had its story, it had a beginning, it had an end, and I think it should end it like that. You know, if you continue the story, it could water down what the characters went through and ruin like the moments and stuff like that potentially. So I think, you know, despite its shortcomings, I think it was still great. I think it's still very much enjoyable despite the very sporadic storytelling. Very, you know, there's a reason why Edgerunners was very popular, especially when it first came out. You know, people talk about Rebecca, people talk about you know, Lucy, you see David, you know, all the other characters, right? To some extent, you know, it was an enjoyable show. I enjoyed it, especially as someone who has played Cyberpunk. You know, soundtrack hits different, you know, that whole thing. But I'm not too surprised that the season 2 thing is not happening. You know, especially if you look at if you look at the series, like, come on. I mean, yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, I guess, but then again, would it be? Because I feel like it would it would take away from the moments that happen in the show. So would I like to see some things expanded upon? Oh yeah, for sure. Like more on this character, more on that character, you know, that would have been really, really great. But hey, I mean, if they do another story with Cyberpunk, great. That'd be fantastic, especially with Studio Trigger. Have you considered watching Edgerunners at any point, or not really?
No.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. It's 10 episodes. Is it an hour? No, it can't be. I think it's maybe a little over 30 minutes. I forget. It's been a hot minute, but yeah, that's just that. All right. Speaking of anime, we have a new trailer for Trigun. So I have not taken a look at this. Oh, here we go.
Millions Knives という名前は聞いたことあるかい？第三都市ジュライ、そこに奴はいる。できれば争いたくはないんだけど、あの人たちは僕に優しくしてくれた。だから助けたい。
記者になるのが夢だったんです。どんな理不尽にも絶対負けませんからね。絶対スクープものにします。
食うか食われるか、この星は過酷だ。俺たちはただの記者だ。
偶然出会った人がこんないい人だなんて、僕って最高についてるな。
変な人。
ヒューマノイド台風か。必ず最悪に見舞われるって話だ。
僕しちゃう。ただの葬儀屋や。
Of course.
十字架背負っててもな。ワロでええんやで。ほな、ぼちぼち行こうか。
あの人超絶に弱そうですわよ。誰か。
真っ先に死ぬタイプだぜ。
バッシュさん、受け取ってください。
一体誰にビビってる？
ワイはワイの仕事をするだけや。相手が誰やってもな。バッシュ、お前はどっちの味方だ？
See, now I've seen more of the animation, I actually do like it a little more. Personally, I like the movement, you know, of the characters, like when they talk and stuff like that.
I'm very disjointed of Millie not being in this show.
Of who? Sorry?
The girl, Millie.
Oh, Millie. Oh, okay.
Because where is she? We don't see her.
Right. I mean,
she's always been with her. So it's like, where is she? Did they write her off to put Mr. Robert De Niro in her place? Because if that is the case, I am not watching this thing. Because I loved Millie in the old Trigun show.
Right.
Millie was like that goofy, strong woman. Like
right.
And then also, no one still had the question of how did she fit that gun, in her skirt,
right,
or dress.
Mm-hmm. I mean, who knows? I mean, probably could be later, like a later thing.
I mean, to show Wolfwood though before Millie, well, that's still like.
Right. No, I get it. I don't know. I don't know.
Yep. Don't know either.
Could be later. Could be, I don't know. Could be written off. I have no idea. So.
Well, if she got written off, a lot of people might be pissed.
Mm-hmm. But I do like the look of it. I do like the look of the show. Just despite being very heavy on CGI, whatever, right? But I like the movement and stuff like that. Very much its own thing. Voice acting is of course top notch. With Bash being voiced by pretty much Kirito and stuff like that. Blah blah blah. But yeah, it looks like it's gonna be you're gonna have good action, from what it seems like. But hey, I mean, if certain characters don't make it in there, that's unfortunate. But I think that shouldn't take away from the rest of the show too much. Although I get it, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Seems like though the action stuff seems to be well animated for sure. That's one thing to take away from. Seems like, but we'll see. I'm not too sure still on the it just says 2023. Doesn't say like a hard release date or anything like that. The like and dislike ratio or lack thereof is there, so maybe they saw that coming. It's like, oh well, we're not gonna include this character, so we're gonna disable the dislike ratio thing. So maybe, I don't know. But looking good though otherwise, despite everything else. Yep, so that's that for Trigun Stampede. One last little thing, it's a bit more of a shit post slash meme slash joke or whatever, but I saw this and I was just like, oh my god. So here's a tweet of a video that someone recorded from like their TV screen of a Japanese show where they show these like segments, I guess, of the foreigners coming into Japan, and I guess they show this on TV where there's these foreigners that were eating sushi with a fork, but you gotta see how it happens. Look at this. Look at that. You hear the person just laughing, the cameraman laughing.
Whatchamacall, like, I'm pretty much doing the penguin from the Batman, like oh no, god, no, what the hell? Why are you showing me that? Come on.
Yeah, I think like Justin Wong was like, yeah, we should be banned from Japan. Oh man, it's so funny. Like, first off, there's so many things wrong with it. It's not really the fork that's wrong with it. It's the fact that, like, the person dipped the rice into the soy sauce because it's gonna break apart. So it's like, how are you supposed to eat that? Yeah. And especially like when it's all like saturated in the soy sauce, it's gonna be like super like salty and everything. And not to yeah. Go ahead.
Like, sometimes when I eat sushi, yeah, I use my hand. But when it comes to the soy sauce, I don't know. Do you do it? Because I dip my pinky and then just spread on top of the top and then just put it.
Whoa, that's new. I have never heard of that.
I mean, no, I do. That's the way I grew up because because that's how I kind of like learned how to do chopsticks, but not really because you're supposed to like turn it to the side and then dip and stuff.
So specifically with sashimi, with sashimi.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so here, everyone, we did this the sashimi. You're supposed to turn it to the side. Yeah, the sashimi is called Neosporin.
Yeah.
Pick it up, and here's your bowl.
Mm-hmm.
It's either one or two, and then you just pop it in.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the more traditional way. Like I never heard the pinky thing. I've never heard of the pinky.
The pinky thing was me just like I don't want, because sometimes when you dip, it might just like slip.
Oh, okay.
So it's just that like, but I kind of have to do it like discreetly. Like, please don't look at me, everyone. I'm just want my little dab of stuff.
Right. So when you eat it with your hand, which you can, yes, you eat it with your hand. You just flip it to the fish side. You dip the fish side, and then you pop it. You pop it in your mouth, right? The other way, at least when I do it with chopsticks, is you just use your chopsticks, pick up the meat, the fish or whatever, dip it into the soy sauce, put it back on the rice, and then you pop it, and you eat it. Right. That's how I do it. My mom does it. It's how a number of people do it, right? Because you want to preserve the rice, right? You think in sushi the fish is like the main attraction. Well, it's only half. That's half of it. The other half is the rice, because they put more time in. They put a lot of time into the rice. That's why when you make the rice, you don't pack it just like you don't pack it in all the way like that. There's a certain amount of pressure. There's a technique to it. You don't like condense the rice like a fucking like a black hole or something like
And when you do go to sushi bars, everyone don't be afraid to ask the sushi chef to ask you like how, just ask for help, like how do I eat this sushi correctly. Most of the time they'll just give you like a fucking like, really? Other sushi chefs, they'll actually like take the time and go like, okay, so what you're gonna do is turn, and like they will actually teach you how to eat sushi correctly. Those are the nice ones.
Yeah.
The other ones are just gonna stare at you and gonna be like, get out.
Yeah. I mean, eating with the fork, right? I mean, yeah, it's weird, but as long as you do it the correct way, like the more correct way, then it's fine. But this person here, I can't. I'm sorry.
I thought what the person would have done with the fork is, like they dip the fork in the soy sauce and then they just
like spread it like that. Yeah, okay, that's a little better. But I'd say just poke the fish, put the fish in there, and then put it back on the rice, and then stab it all the way or whatever, and then eat it, right? But this person broke the rice apart. It falls apart, and it's all like saturated in the soy sauce. So you're gonna.
I know when you see the pieces of the rice in the soy sauce, is like, bro, you better be eating that.
Yeah,
like eat everything.
Yeah, because you
get all that sodium in there in your body.
Yeah, and you miss out on the sushi rice flavor, right? The sushi rice is different from just regular rice. Like you mix it with vinegar, sugar, whatever, all that stuff. There's a recipe for it. There's an actual recipe for it, and there's a flavor to it, man. It's its own thing, That's why it's the rice is just as important as the fish. That's half of it, right? They go together, they're for a reason, So, it's but just seeing this, it is funny, but man, man.
Yo, get the hell out of my country.
It is like kind of literal cringe, right? Like actual, like physical, like cringe. Like, bro, you're breaking the rice apart.
Like, imagine you're like at the other table just looking at this monstrosity. Like, I don't know about you, I might have been losing my appetite when I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, if I was like sitting across or whatever from that person, I'm like, I don't know whether to like, butt in on the business and be like, hey, there's a better way to eat, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you do you, but like,
But I don't know, man. Sometimes there's a wrong way and there's a correct way to eat something, right? Because you're gonna miss out on the rice, right? The rice flavor, you know, the sushi rice flavor. Your eating experience won't be as optimal, right? So you're gonna have a hard time like picking all the rice out of the soy sauce bowl and everything, because you gotta like now pick it with the fork or chopsticks, you know, whatever. But I have a little story with sushi, right? Across the table, I was eating at one of those like sushi go round places, right? We were eating our sushi as per usual, but then there's a couple, and there's this couple that was just eating the cucumber roll, but they were taking out the cucumber and eating the cucumber and then just piling up the rice and not eating it at all. And I'm just like, the entire time, like, I'm just like, what? What? Like, bro, if you want just cucumber, just order the cucumber salad or something. Like, there's, like, you come to a sushi restaurant and you do that to the rice like that, like, man. If I saw that as the owner, I would have been like, you're gonna eat that, right? Like, I would have said something. I don't know. I mean, what do you make of that?
I don't know. It's kind of like how when I was with my cousins one time, we were at, you know, like yours, a merry-go-round.
Yeah, sushi go round.
Sushi conveyor.
Yeah, conveyor belt. Mm-hmm.
You pick and choose.
Yeah.
And I told them, you know, like, and here's the separate menu. If you don't see it on the conveyor belt, you can, you know, order it. And so they ordering stuff, blah blah blah, and each plate has their own, you know, price value.
Mm-hmm.
And I warned them, is like, do not order from the gray section.
Yeah,
like, why is it gross? I was like, no, that's the most expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Lo and behold, they ordered like 10 things out of that damn section. And I'm like,
oh man, the tuna belly? I'm gonna get all of that.
I was like, oh my fucking Jesus.
Oh man.
Bill comes in.
It was like,
what the hell do you mean I need to pay $80? I was like, fucking order that much.
Okay, I thought it was gonna be like $200 or something, like $200.
But I was like, that I told you not to fucking order from that section unless you knew that you're gonna, you know, have the money. And they're like,
bro,
oh, this place is a ripoff. It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, they're color coded. Yeah, the plates in sushi go rounds are color coded. So if you go, no, I mean, there's no like universal code or anything like that. But like for example, you know, the orange stuff is like the cheap stuff. The green one is the mid or whatever, and then the special plate or whatever, like the blue ones with the fucking whatever shit in it, are the like the top premium stuff, right? That's kind of how it goes. So yeah, stuff like that. Isn't it?
For me, I was sticking to like, for ours, the most cheapest one is the yellow plates, and then like that mid, like I don't want to break my wallet, was the orange plate. So I was staying in that realm. They were going like everywhere, and I was like, I'm not going to pay for your bill when it comes.
Yeah.
Because again, lo and behold, kids, if you eat a lot of the cheap stuff, you're actually getting your money's worth.
Oh yeah, you're getting satisfied and all that stuff. Yeah, man. Especially if you order like the hot stuff, like, you know, like the actual like stuff that gets cooked or whatever. So you can like order like a mini quote unquote bowl of ramen, and like there's like I think sometimes they have like gyoza and like karaage, chicken karaage, or fried chicken, you know, Japanese fried chicken, chicken karaage, you know, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Fried squid, you know, whatever. Yeah.
Which is more hilarious that the one I went to, and this was like a year ago, they had takoyaki. But it was on the cheap plate, and I was like, you know, being suspicious, like, ooh, it might not be cooked well or anything, because, you know,
probably cheap ingredients or something. Yeah.
But when I bit into it, I was like, wait a minute, this is actually good. Like I also am like looking at the plate and everything. Then I grab the menu. I guess it's on the cheap end.
Oh yeah.
Can I have 5 more of this?
Yeah.
2 to eat now, 3 to take home.
Yep. So yep, just wanted to bring this up because it's just the shit like this is hilarious. I mean, to me, am I gonna make fun of that person? Absolutely. But you know, I mean, hey, I mean, it can't be helped. You know, there are people who can't use a fucking chopstick. And don't want to get their hand dirty. I get it, you know, or want to touch their dirty hand on the sushi or whatever, or sashimi. I get it, but you know, sometimes you do want to give them pointers, like, hey, I mean, dip the fish, don't dip the rice. You know, that's what I would tell them. But am I gonna be like, oh, take away the fork? You know, you don't eat it with the fork. Yeah, eat with your hand or chopstick. You know, I'm like, nah, bro. There's
you tell him, you just tell him get the fuck out.
Get the fuck. maybe well,
that's when you
yeah,
like you just grab their fork and their food and you be like, leave.
Yeah, you grab the fork out of their hand, stab it on the cutting table, like get the fuck out.
You are unworthy. You are unworthy. Maybe like the really old like sushi chef or sushi. I can see them doing that.
Yeah, restaurant owner could probably do that, or not could. They would probably do that. Yeah, it's like, oh my god.
And then they'll be like, get out of here, you. What was it? You gaijin.
Yeah, gaijin. Oh man. Yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh, he's you know they'll be like, oh, he's pleasing. No, me, I would be like, yeah, get out of here, you gaijin.
Yeah.
I'm like, just like, yeah. You tell him, GG. You tell him.
GG. Yeah. Yep.
Ocha kudasai.
Yep. Well, anyway. Well, that's what happens when you open up the borders again. People are just gonna flood in, especially with the 150 yen to the $1 exchange. It's looking pretty wild. Looking pretty wild. They're going crazy on those anime figures and Gundam Gunplas and all that stuff, man. But hey, at least something funny came out of it. I just thought I'd share that. So anyways, that's all we got. There's some quite the roller coaster stories and shitty ones, and there are shitty stories and then has a good ending, and then there's cool ones, and then we got one funny one out of it at least, which is the sashimi one. Oh man. But yeah, that's it for our episode. Thank you very much for tuning in. Quite the ride today. We got a lot to talk about for at least one story. just a little bit. But anyway, that's all we got. Thank you very much. And we hope to see you all in the next episode in Hypecast. Bye-bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye-bye.
And eat sushi right, everyone. We will judge you.
Don't break the rice apart. That's important. That's the important bit.